From the Science Center to Horlock Park, I see your lawns and cringe a little. Weeds are here. And you
tied up there by Spears, back to the net and across.
And they're in your community, keeping your yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages.
In behind the net, Howden tied up there by Slip.
Visit greendrop.com.
It's Canadian Tire's summer big red sale. Up to 50% off. Dude, I'm soaked. I mean, they told us to make a big splash, so I did.
Save up to 50% at Canadian Tire's summer big red sale, June 4th to 11th. Exclusions apply. Details online.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Tired of the rough ride? Alberta used to be a leader in highway planning and construction, but years of neglect and cuts to maintenance are showing. You can see it, and your vehicle is feeling it. Infrastructure can last for years with a little TLC, but when repairs are deferred, minor issues become major reconstruction. We need action and a reliable capital plan. Contact your MLA and demand stable infrastructure funding. Find out how at fixourroads.com.
A message from the Alberta Road Builders and Heavy Construction Association.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Justin Rankin making every single ounce of excitement possible. Squeezed into this Edmonton offense. Touchdown, Justin Rankin. 61 yards to the end zone.
On Sports 1440.
The end of 39. Now Fajardo is hunting for a touchdown to Austin Mack. Extending for the end zone. Makes the grab, and the pair of Fajardo and Mack back on the same page and back in the end zone in green and gold.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
In behind the net, Howden tied up there by Slavin. Howden still with possession. Former captain of the Moose Jaw Warriors, back to McNabb and across. Theodore gets...
Well, magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. As always, it's brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Live Leader Sports, Casino, Lottery, Instance, all in one stop. PlayAlberta.ca. And we got lots to discuss on the program today. And I planned on coming in today. I'd done a lot of prep and was kind of ready for the show and what we were going to be discussing today. And it would have been the Elks' first ever win under the banner of the Elks on a season opening game, 29-21. Probably could have been much more, to be honest, because they created a lot of turnovers, dropped a few other ones. And then offensively, they just couldn't punch the ball in the end zone. Kept settling for field goals, but they controlled that game. Much of it. So that's a good sign. Unfortunately, Coulter Woodmansey is going to be placed on the 6-game injured list for the green and gold. So that's not ideal. And I would expect them to probably change their ratio, to be honest. Just on the O-line and bring in Cameron Carter to play right guard. That'd be my guess. They got some time to figure it out. They might go with Beard and Corte, but I would think they're going to go with Cameron Carter, who was on the who didn't play last week, but is ready to go. They'll go from there. Talk a little NBA. How about the Knicks? The New York freaking Knicks. Up 2-0. A chance to go up 3-0 tonight against the Spurs. Not many people thought that would be a sweep for the Knicks. Still a long ways away from being a sweep, but talk that. Or how about the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stanley Cup final? It's 2-1 for Vegas. And these teams, all they are doing is scoring goals, baby. We haven't seen this many goals in the first 3 games of Stanley Cup final since 1981. Not even the Oilers in all the years they went to the Stanley Cup final were able to score that many goals in the first 3 games, them and their team early on. So it's been entertaining. If you like goals, if you like leads, if you like comebacks, man, it's at it all. It's been great. And then today, Darren Dreger puts out that the Edmonton Oilers are just contacting the NHL PA to see if there are objections that must be resolved before potentially hiring Mike Babcock. They're saying amid allegations of invading players' privacy, he resigned in Columbus. Further investigation may be required. So now, if there was an just think about this for a second. You're an organization in the National Hockey League who is in their win now mode. And someone would say, you know what, Gregor, they're just uncovering every rock to see anything. I'm like, okay, sure. But do you have to lift up every rock? You got to get the cockroaches. You got to get everybody? Really? So your idea is to say, well, let's just see. So we want to hire a guy who, oh, by the way, the league would have to investigate if it's okay to let him back in the league. Let's look at that guy. We think this is a good decision. And someone's like, oh, well, geez, this guy must have won a lot, eh? Well, he actually won 1 Stanley Cup. Oh, when did he do that? Oh, back in 2008. Pardon? Yeah, 2018 years ago. Well, what did he do since then? Well, he hasn't been out of the first round since 2013. In a completely different, that was when it was 1 versus 8 playoff format. Babcock hasn't coached in the era of division, right? Top 3 in division make it. Well, that's not true. He's coaching it. He's just never won in it. Lost in the first round his last 2 years in Detroit. Then missed the playoffs his first year in Toronto. Lost in the first round in 17, 18, and 19. Then got fired 23 games into the season. And if you're a big believer in second chances, because you know what? This guy, hey, we got to give him a second chance. Yeah, he made a mistake. It was a bad decision to ask young Mitch Marner to rank his teammates from hardest to least hardworking player. Oh, and by the way, then show his teammates where he ranked them. Oh, you know what? That's total normal attitude. Like most of us, that's just a mistake to think, you know what? I think this would be a really good idea. I'm going to embarrass one of the young rookies in front of his teammates because that'll make him feel better and it'll bring the team closer together. But geez, you know what? It didn't work out that way. Like, oh, I was just trying to teach Mitch about work ethic. Huh? Well, then you could have said, Mitch, who do you think's the hardest worker on the team? Oh, I don't know. Zach Hyman. Okay, great. Then that's what we want you to look at things, try to emulate some of that. Okay, coach, thanks. Not, hey, why don't you rank every one of these guys from hardest working to least hardest working? Oh, geez, coach. All right. Okay, thanks. See you later. And then you turn around and you show your veteran teammates. Like, do you know how much of a control freak, complete narcissist you have to be to think that that's normal? And then you actually get another job where you're like, geez, maybe, you know what? That was probably a little awkward. So then you get hired by Columbus on July 1st. You have to resign before training camp. Why? Because basically you invaded the privacy of players, asking them, hey, let's take your phone, connect it, and now we're just going to scroll through your pictures up on the wall. Why is it the coach's right to see what his pictures are? Oh, let's see what you did this summer. How many of you in your phone have pictures that range from a lot of different things? camping trip, school ballet concert, whatever it is. And then maybe, you know what? You got some pictures of yourself, some pictures of your girlfriend, your boyfriend, who knows? What things are called private. And he just thought, oh no, this is normal. No. That's not what he meant. He wanted to say, oh, I wanted to get to know the players and find out what they did that summer, rather than just saying, hey, Bob, what did you do this summer? Did you go anywhere? Where's the place you've seen? Pretty simple conversation, right? Do you have any pictures you'd feel comfortable sharing with me? Then you could show him 1 or 2 pictures. Oh, yeah, here's me at the, when Declan Kruger went to Italy. He would have pictures of the Vatican. He would have pictures of the Colosseum, right? I don't need to see what his pictures of what him and his girlfriend were doing on his own time, right? That's his own time. But, like, what are we doing here? And now you're thinking that this guy is the right answer for your organization? Give me a break. Even contemplating it illustrates where the organization is at, in my opinion. Desperate. That's where they're at. If you actually believe a guy who hasn't won a playoff round since 2013, who has a laundry list of not treating players well, imagine something as simple as because this is how you have to make it about you. When you have Mike Modano on your team, really good player, right? Now, at the time, he wasn't the Mike Modano who had his jersey flapping in the wind because he was so fast wheeling up and down the ice as a member of the North Stars and then the Dallas Stars. No, that's not the Mike Modano you had. But you still had Mike Modano, the player, who'd been in the league a long time. And now it's 2011. And he comes off an injury, and there is the exact number of games left in the season that will get him to game 1,500. So what do? With 4 games left in the season, you healthy scratch him. And you only healthy scratch him for 1 game. And then you play him the final 3 games of the year. And what does he end up with? 1,499 games played. When everybody knew that he needed all 4 of those final games to get to game 1,500. But you made it about you. And then what was your response? I didn't bring you here to play 1,500 games. I brought you here to win in the playoffs. Well, newsflash, head coach. Newsflash. You can't win in the playoffs in the regular season. It's physically impossible. Okay? I would expect a mouth-breathing troll on the internet to make a claim like that. Not an NHL head coach. But that's the coach you get. What about Johan Franzen? Ask Johan Franzen. Chris Chelios, a teammate, says it's the worst thing he's ever seen. How he berated him. The guy had a mental breakdown in the dressing room afterwards. Oh, well, gee, miscommunication, misunderstanding. Give me a break. This guy is a repeat offender of being an absolute jerk, overbearing, and guess what? He doesn't even win. That's the thing. He doesn't freaking win. Go look at Toronto's points percentage in the 4 years and 23 games that they had under Babcock. And then go look at the next 4 years and 23 games. And guess what happens? His record is much worse. They actually had the 16th best record in the NHL in the games that Babcock coached. And you know what they had over the same amount of time? 4th. So he leaves. Now, they changed some players, true. And oh, by the way, they got rid of, and he had Kadri and he had Hyman. And then Hyman left. Kadri left. So you lose some good players. And they still had a better record. Significantly better record. But you're going to tell me he's the answer? It's utterly disgusting and desperate if that's how the organization views this. We got to reach out to the PA to see if maybe we can do it. And you know what? If they can, maybe there'll be an investigation. Right? Just even mentioning the fact that, we have to see if there's an investigation required or not. The NHL would manage it. Unbelievable. So whether he becomes the head coach or not, the fact that they're even doing it tells me where the organization's going. And I'm sorry, it doesn't look like it's in the best direction. It is utterly disgusting. We can talk sports all day, but you know what? Why? And this happens, unfortunately, at lots of levels where you have somebody, oh, you know what? They were a good coach, so I'll overlook that they're a bad human. Because when you treat that many different people that way, I'm sorry, that's a pattern. That's who you are. You think it's normal. Well, I just thought it was a bad decision with Mitch Marner. Try to explain to me how you, well, I know his excuse, well, I was trying to teach him about work ethic. Really? Is that the only way you know how to coach a player about work ethic? I'm pretty sure we could talk to lots of coaches at lots of different levels of other ways that they've wanted to teach someone how to improve their work ethic without have to embarrass them or try to drive a wedge between them and their teammates. Because what did John Tortorella just, and here's the hilarious part about, what did John Tortorella just say over the weekend about, you know what, I'm a big believer that the teams that win, they're pretty close. Now, it doesn't mean that the team that loses in Game 7 by 1 goal isn't close. Obviously, they're close. So it's not the only thing. But he feels like to go deep, you have to have a real love amongst your players and your room. There has to be a healthy level of respect. And you think Mike Babcock's going to bring that? Honestly, I would love anyone to give me a reason why it would be a good idea to hire Mike Babcock. And if all you have, and I'll say this, outside of the fact they want to Stanley Cup, and don't bring up the Olympics when Canada was loaded. Look at that team. Hell, I could have coached that team. They probably would have won. Honestly, that 2014 Olympic team was unbelievable. The blue line was great. Forwards are great. Everybody's great. Carey Price in net, awesome. Like, I'm sorry. There's no defending it. And frankly, the Edmonton Oilers, as an organization, should be embarrassed that they're even contemplating hiring a coach who has had that many transgressions that were just horrible in how you treat your players. He drove Johan Franzen, really helped him. The guy's never been the same, man. He had like a mental breakdown. And people think that, well, it's just being hard on him. Come on. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll get a lot of text on that in the show today. Kevin Woodley will be by. We talked about this last week. We're going to look at the free agent market for goalies. Are there any ones that are fits? Well, Connor Ingram's one. Now, you know a lot of the names. Skinner, Talbot. Probably not guys that are coming back to Edmonton. Calvin Pickard, free agent. There's a lot of them. Not sure any of them are great fits. John Holden will join us from L.A. The Kings have hired Peter Laviolette as their head coach. Matt Devlin will be by. We're going to talk some NBA Finals. Also, Webster extension for the Raptors. Cody Fajardo, Elks. 1-0, baby. First time you could ever say that. Ever. Elks. 1-0. The Esks have been 1-0 many times. But the Elks, never been 1-0 until now. They got to win. Fajardo improves to 10-1 all time against Ottawa. Jesse Granger will join us from Vegas. Talk a little Golden Knights Stanley Cup final. What a series that has been. We got Spec. We'll get to some stats of the day. I got a few beauties for you, actually. Conman, what stood out for you this past weekend on the sporting landscape?
Well, I mean, the Stanley Cup playoffs are unbelievable. The finals have been incredible. No lead is safe, and the challenges, everything we've seen has been awesome. For the Edmonton Elks, it was great. I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more throughout this show, but picking up that first win for them, massive. Could have been an even bigger win. That margin of victory could have been more. So it's nice that you win, but there are still some coachable moments, some things they can clean up. The NBA playoffs, fantastic. Looking forward to the game tonight. It's a great time in the sporting world right now.
Yeah. Take a quick break. We'll return. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package. And the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay you to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differently. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Good to go. Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, good to go.
It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff, before the first snap. It starts with you locking in your season seats. This is Edmonton Elks football. The only way to experience it is being there for every hit, catch, and touchdown. The Elks home opener kicks off June 20th against Montreal. Your season seats are your way in. Get yours now at goelks.com/season seats. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
Alberta, we're wild and tough and beautiful. We agree that good enough isn't good enough. And know everything that matters starts with a home and a family. At Lux, our family has been handcrafting windows and doors for this incredible place for over half a century. There's no place we'd rather be. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Stop for a ride that truly matters. Join the Princess Auto Ride for Dad Edmonton, where hundreds of motorcycles fire up and roll out together in one unforgettable moment. Enjoy a scenic route, great food, amazing prizes, fundraising awards, and a whole community riding shoulder to shoulder. Collect pledges to support prostate cancer research and awareness in the fight against prostate cancer. Ride strong, ride proud to make a difference this Saturday, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. Register now at ridefordad.ca.
The funny thing about hitting the road to leave it all behind is you don't really want to leave it all behind. So Sherwood Honda has the SUV with plenty of room for all you want with you. Think Honda CR-V, the Honda Pilot, or maybe even a Ridgeline truck. With this kind of lineup, you can go where you want and bring all you want with you. You sure would make it easy to leave your cares behind by starting at Sherwood Honda.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.224, how are you? Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. And the text line is humming. We'll get to lots of those. Here it's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But first, we are going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, where they are hosting the man, the myth, the legend, Gene Simmons Band on stage in an intimate venue later this year. Get your tickets, silenticecenter.com. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Woodley, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. How is the city of Edmonton reacting to today's news? I just saw it myself. I was on the ice, and as I was on my way back here, I saw the Babcock stuff. So I'd be curious to hear what the reaction's been there at Jason.
No, but let's just say less than desirable, as it should be. I'm sorry. I don't. Hey, I'm all for second chances. He had a second chance. It didn't work, and nothing's changed. And the other thing is, he hasn't won a playoff round since 2013.
I'll give you what.
This guy's the right answer. I don't get it.
I'll give you one more, and I'm with you. Second chances are deserved. Sometimes they have to be earned. And I think what came to roost in Columbus, I play hockey on a weekly basis with somebody who was a part of that University of Saskatchewan team when Mike Babcock was there. And I remember the original reaction to the news in Columbus when they were talking about all the work he did to change as a person. And it was like, really? Because the place where he was supposed to be doing that work, the people that were in that locker room, don't feel like it was done. Didn't feel like anything changed at the time. And I think we saw that come home to roost in Columbus. So I think the game's changed even further in terms of what athletes are prepared to deal with. And I'm with you. I was again, don't want to like burn a man in effigy without giving him a chance, but there's been chances here, and everything I've been told by somebody who lived it and didn't live it from a very pleasant perspective. Let's put it that way. And there were plenty in that room that did not have a lot of great things about, even the attempt to change the color of his stripes when he was at the University of Saskatchewan. Yeah. So, and I think Columbus paid the price for not actually doing the proper due diligence. So I'm surprised that conversation's happening again.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, I know last week we talked about a little fun homework assignment for you, looking at the free agent goaltending market. Oiler fans are very familiar with a lot of the names on there. Ingram, Skinner, Talbot, Pickard. There's lots of them that have been in Edmonton recently, but we know Connor Ingram is a pending free agent. And the list, like obviously Sergei Bobrovsky's another name on the list. When you crunch all your numbers, Kev, what have you come up with looking at the free agent market or potential free agent market? Because a guy like Freddie Anderson, we don't know if he's going to be a free agent or not.
Yeah, I know. I mean, in that, I think you can probably say the same thing in terms of, I mean, as much as there are reports that it's headed that way, you can probably say the same thing about Sergei Bobrovsky. Like I'll believe it when we get to July 1st and his name is still out there.
Okay.
At the end of the day, like I think there is not a lot of clear-cut upgrades out there, especially on the free agent market. Are there some projects that have shown upside? You mentioned one name a couple of weeks ago, Daniel Tarasov. On a expected save percentage basis last year, he finished the season right around league average, which makes him second on this list in terms of guys heading into unrestricted free agency. But if you look at it like through February 1st, he was 21st in the league. Like he had a really great start to the season, had never played that much in the NHL. And obviously the wheels came off a little bit down the stretch in Florida with all the injuries, but he was tied neck and neck with some guy named Connor Halley for the first, you're 2/3 of a season by the time you get to February 1st. And obviously didn't finish well for him to fall as far as he did. And there were some goals down the stretch, a lot of low percentage goals that make you scratch your head a little bit, but the physical tools have always been there. And there is upside. The problem for Daniel Tarasov in Columbus was he was always hurt early in his career. And by the time he got healthy, they didn't want to risk him because of the pedigree. And I remember watching him at the World Juniors and having people compare him to Pekka Rinne with a more refined game at that age. Like that, there are certainly a lot of goalie people around the game that thought very highly of his tools. But by the time he got healthy in Columbus, he needed waivers. And he had barely played. And so he got in a team that was trying to compete, he got stuck. He didn't play enough that they felt like they could play him. And they didn't want to risk sending him to the minor leagues because they were pretty confident they were going to lose him. So the problem is, I don't think they're looking for a project in Edmonton. And there's still a project element to him. Like there's still refinement that needs to come in his game and he needs more minutes. But to me, he's one of the highest upside guys on the unrestricted free agent market. All that said, as I teased last week, Connor Ingram grades out as the best expected or adjusted save percentage relative to environment of any goalie that's on the UFA list this season. Like you've got a guy who tops this list already. I do think as much as the playoffs were not probably what he wanted, they didn't match the way, his performance overall didn't sort of live up to even how he'd played during the season in Edmonton. You got to remember that's not first. He had one relief stint in Nashville where he got a start, but like that's sort of pretty much his first taste, right? So, it depends on the number and a lot of other factors. I think there are more attractive names out there, not than Connor, but other upside guys potentially on trade markets and teams having to make tough decisions in terms of what happens with, do they carry through? Do they risk losing a guy? But on the unrestricted free agent list, like the top 4 goalies are Connor Ingram, Daniel Tarasov, by the numbers, Matt Murray in a tiny sample, and Stuart Skinner. There's your top 4. And, out of the other guys below it, even Freddie Anderson, if he was available, I mean, the environment in Edmonton is not what it is in Carolina. And at the end of the day, it has to improve regardless. But Carolina is a tough environment in terms of high percentage of quality chances, not a lot of quantity. But if you're going to be busy and pinned in your own end, he's playing even fewer games for you than he did in Carolina. So, I look at the other ones on there, Talbot, Vanacek, Mrazek, Laurent Brossoit, Sam Ersson, James Reimer, Eric Comrie. Like I like a lot of these goalies, but right down to the numbers, none of them is a clear-cut upgrade. I think to find a clear-cut upgrade, you either take some risk in a project like Tarasov, or you've got to hit the trade market.
Yeah, well, the Tarasov one is fascinating from a Florida perspective because you've got Bobrovsky, and now do they feel? Bob obviously feels he can play for many years. So if you're if I'm Tarasov, I'm not signing in Florida till I know what they're doing with Bobrovsky.
Right, and this is where it gets interesting too, because you can say that, but if they don't sign Bob and it's July 1st, like that's a tough decision because if you sit while that game of musical chairs starts going and you wait, you can quickly find yourself without a seat, right? So that's actually, I hadn't thought of it from Tarasov's perspective. It's actually a really tough spot to be in.
Well, I guess it is in the sense of, like, I think Tarasov, Kevin, you've crunched the numbers. If he makes it to the free agent market, wouldn't every team in the market for a goalie be calling him?
I mean, when I crunch the numbers and say that he's the second guy on the list, he still finished right at league average, right? Like, it's not like he's right around like the 30s in the league. It's not like those numbers jump off the page. They jump off the page relative to everybody else on the UFA list, but that's more a statement of the UFA list than it is him. Now, upside, pedigree, all the things that come with it. Yeah, he'd probably be early on a number of teams' lists depending on the price. He hasn't had a prove it year. I don't know that last year was enough of a sample that teams are going to invest all in. And I think it's tough for him because he seemed very comfortable in Florida and they obviously like him, but your willingness to stick around, if Bob's not signed yet and there's indecision there, you could sign and end up behind him again. So yeah, it's a tough one. There is nothing on this list that is a slam dunk. And I know a lot of people will say, hey, can't you find me like next year's Dan Vladar? And I would say there are guys on this list, including Connor Ingram and Daniel Tarasov, that have that same type of upside. But my question would be, are you giving me the defensive environment that Dan Vladar had with Rick Tocchet in Philadelphia in his first year? Because that's a big part of this conversation, right? So finding the next guy is as much about fit. And, again, we're talking about an Edmonton team. If you're a goalie, the goalies know what teams are going to, like, they know where it's good to play. They know what's going to help them get good numbers and where they're going to be leaned on and where they're going to be asked to carry the mail and what the market is like. If you're going in the unrestricted free agent market and you haven't even got a coach or a system in place and you're a goalie trying to make that decision, that becomes interesting as well. Like, what am I getting into here? What style are we playing? Do I even fit this style? And if you're a team, you'd probably like to know what system you're going to play and what types of chances you're going to live with before you pick a goalie. Because you've heard me say this a million times on this program. It's not just he's a good goalie, so he'll be a good goalie here. It very much is about fit and sort of everybody gives up chances, but what type are we giving up? And does our guy play to those strengths? Freddie Anderson's a perfect fit in Carolina. I don't know that he gets through a season like last year at Edmonton. He certainly has less chance of getting through it healthy the way he did in Carolina this year, even playing fewer games, just because they spend so much more time in their own end.
Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. So now what about trades, Kev? You look around, it's always hard to kind of predict. We haven't really heard of any goalies that could be on the move this season. So what do you think, like what path, where do you think the Oilers go for goaltending? Because right now they got Tristan Jarry and that's it.
Doesn't it feel like they need a proven guy? Like from the outside looking in, like there are a lot of names that I could throw at you that I think are good bets, but doesn't it feel like that locker room wants a certainty? Like, doesn't it feel like you need a veteran? And that's a short list. Like you've got Bob on the UFA list and you've got, Jordan Binnington. And again, I'd point you to environment. Are you going to give Jordan Binnington the one he got at the Olympics where he could be super aggressive and not worry about getting backdoored all day? Or are you going to give him the one in St. Louis where he's been, one of the statistically worst goalies of the past season, was outplayed by a pretty good margin by Joel Hofer, who looks to have taken over the role? Because that's a name that's sort of out there because of Hofer's ascension. I'm trying to think of some other names off the top of my head who could get moved. I'm curious to see what happens here in Vancouver. I don't think even if that's your Demko, like there's a risk there from injury. There's a lot of sort of indications that the hip surgery has solved a lot of the underlying problems. And it wouldn't be the first time a goalie's had a hip problem that presents itself as groins and knees and everything else because of the way that's all connected. But there's 2 more years left at 8. Now, he's the only one on that list. If indeed he were to play enough games to make himself attractive on a trade list, he's the only one that sort of transcends that. This guy can win games by himself. At his best, he's the top 5 goalie, but do you get him at his best and does he make it to the finish line healthy? Because he's yet to do that as a number 1 in the NHL. So other names you can throw at me, Jason? Sorry, I'm trying to think of like, we talked about Toronto. Do they trade Stollers because they don't want to lose Hill to be on waivers? Yeah. Would that be an option? Joseph Wall.
Right? Like what about Buffalo and their goalies, right? Like Devin Levi is going to want to play, I would think.
Yeah, but again, and you're not going to find a bigger Devin Levi fan than myself, but there's just, that's like Tarasov, even less proven, right? Mm-hmm. And probably 4 or 5 inches smaller. Like if I'm making a bet between one and the other, again, I'm a huge fan of Devin Levi, but it's going to be Tarasov. Now Levi's a cheaper ticket. And that's, again, that's there are so many factors that go into it. And at the end of the day, the one that matters the most is the one you can't answer because you don't know who the head coach is. You don't know what you don't know what your system's going to be. Are you going to try and play like Carolina does? You're going to try what type of hockey are you playing? Are you going to be like, Carolina is an extreme, so it's probably not fair of me. It's a little facetious to use that example, but like they don't give up any chances, but they give up a ton off the rush. Like there are goalies that would just die behind that system. They couldn't handle it mentally. They couldn't handle all the rush chances. Like I know it was a tough year statistically for all their starters, but when you adjust it for the quality they saw, if not quantity, it actually started to look a lot better. So you really need to solve that first. And I've said it doesn't matter. Like outside of Thatcher Demko and a healthy Thatcher Demko, and that's a big presumption, there isn't anybody available that I can think of that can outperform the type of environment the Oilers rolled out on a night-to-night basis last year.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com. Jones, where do you come out on Sebastian Cossa? Because, there's the rumblings, maybe Augustine's coming in. I still think it's Augustine plays 1 year in the minors, which like most goalies do. Cossa gets to be the backup. John Gibson has 1 year left in his deal. Then you can kind of figure it out from there. But maybe Detroit's like, oh my God, we need a veteran backup because we have to make the playoffs this year. Where do you come out on Cossa? And, is he NHL ready? Do we have any idea?
This is the challenge for me. I don't have NHL numbers, or I don't have American League numbers. And so much, like, usually you get a taste, you get a little bit, and it's hard in a small sample, but you can usually get an idea. Like Connor Ingram, to go way back to when Arizona picked him up off waivers, he hadn't played a ton in the NHL, but he played enough, and I had some underlying numbers that said, he was the guy to go after. They did, and they had a lot of success with him. I don't have that on Cossa. I don't have access to American League numbers. Clearsight Analytics doesn't track it. And I'd be honest, Jason, I haven't watched enough video on him. I've talked to a number of goalie people around the league, not so much about him specifically. So this isn't a Sebastian Cossa thing, but more about how well Grand Rapids defended. Because if you look at it, all their goalies had a fair bit of success. It does still feel, though, despite that, you can only play behind the environment that's in front of you. It's not their fault that it's a good defensive environment, and he's played really well. It's hard to figure out why he seems to get passed over, and maybe that's no fault of his own. Maybe you're going to get a guy who is so motivated and just wants to, shove it for not giving me opportunities earlier. I know he's a hometown guy. He's got the size. There's a ton of tools there. It would be like Devin Levi. I don't know what that answer looks like. I don't know how it translates. I don't know if it translates quickly enough. I guess that would be the biggest problem or the biggest concern, because there's going to be an adjustment, right? Like we saw it with Stu. Like it's not usually instant. And if you're a team that's going for broke come playoff time, like you can hope. Even Brandon Bussey had a lot more experience. It's probably closer to the Levi level experience, maybe even more than that, at the American League level, had success at the American League level, caught fire this year and looked like he had taken over that job. But look what happened down the stretch. He faded. Frederick Anderson, and I still think we might see Bussey in game 4 tomorrow night, but he wasn't the guy come playoff time. And I think if they're the Oilers, aren't you kind of looking for that guy come playoff time as much as anything? And there are not a ton of examples. Joel Hofer in St. Louis, like you bring them along slowly. Sebastian Cossa may be an excellent goaltender and a perfect fit for the Edmonton Oilers, but expecting him to come in year 1 and be a savior that leads you to the Stanley Cup Finals and a Stanley Cup championship, it just feels like a massive ask. And that would be the same of any of these guys. Dennis Hill to be any of these sort of number 3s in organizations that have to clear waivers or are on the trade market because their team doesn't necessarily view them as being part of the future and they want to get an asset for them. So it's really hard to answer the question. I can do all this. You can do all the tape work and everything and say, this guy's an NHL goalie or he has a chance to be an NHL goalie. This is a good investment. This is a good risk. There's a big step from this guy can play in the NHL to this guy's ready to carry a team through the stretch drive of a season and into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Those are two entirely different worlds, and there aren't a lot of lists on either name that definitely check those boxes.
Kev, quickly give me your thoughts. I would start Brandon Bussi in Game 4 if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes. What would you do?
I'm a huge Frederik Andersen guy, but I'm leaning towards what you said there, Jason. I'm kind of with you on this one. When I look at the Stanley Cup Finals, as good as Andersen has been to this point, he's like minus 4.5 goals saved above expected. Carter Hart's minus 3.6. Neither goalie has been exceptional. Neither starter has been exceptional. And if you're Carolina, you've got a wild card sitting there in Bussi, who, like I said, the wheels came off, or they wobbled a little bit down the stretch for him. There were some struggles down the stretch that allowed Frederik Andersen to sort of take over that job, and he's been full value for it. But it looks to me when I watch, this is the first team that's sort of consistently outplaying, not by a huge margin, but consistently outplaying on the high danger and expected goals per game. Vegas is the first team that's outplayed Carolina, and they've got this, and they look confident. They look like they feel like they're a team that they can score on Frederik Andersen. The breakaways, the way they're using the dekes, the way they're stretching him out. And by God, it's not an all-star game, Carolina. Stop giving up breakaways like they're Halloween candy. But Brandon Bussi is a totally different look. Conservative with his initial depth, but watch, I think it was the first goal in Game 3, pop pass behind the net into the slot. Really difficult play for Frederik Andersen. It goes across the middle of the ice. It's from behind the net, but he's on his right post and he's missed his integration. He's got his shin on the post because he didn't hit it with his toe box. And to me, that's a little bit of fatigue. And because he's on his shin, he doesn't have as good a push across. He doesn't have as much coverage. They go back to a one-timer score. I think Brandon Bussi's got a chance to make that save. You see how he goes in. As a matter of fact, there was a similar play later in the game, and he exploded off his post, got out to the top of his crease, made a relatively easy save. The question becomes, because of his aggression, he will cut off. He doesn't go, angle over depth. He doesn't just stay in the middle of his net. He will come out and he will cut you off aggressively. He will make those first saves, more of them. The question is, can you win all the battles for the second chances and loose pucks? Because they're going to be there. The other caveat, if you're Carolina and you're looking at it, is his aggression, the way he plays. That's a terrible bounce off the end boards that catches him.
Oh, God, awful.
But that's more likely given his style. He is out there. And it's not, again, you won't see it coming down the rush, setting up, conservative depth, beats his plays on his spots. But once he reads a shot, he's in that one, he's shifting outside of his net. He's pushing, that shot's going well wide, and he's taking himself outside of his crease rather than defaulting back to his post, right? And so that's a little bit of how he plays. To me, I'm with you. I think the changeup would be worth it, and sort of giving, as much as Vegas would have more time to prepare for the different look, I just don't know that they would make the adjustments. And I think they'd probably, the other thing too is we talked about going into the playoffs about Vegas and how good they were at the dirty area, how they led the entire playoffs in sort of what I called quote unquote dirty goals, screens, rebounds, deflections, broken plays. Brandon Bussi in the regular season, in totality, even after the struggles down the stretch, screens 8 goals above expected, rebounds 4.6 goals above expected, well above on deflections. The only one where he was slightly below was the broken plays and the bounces, 18 goals on 66 chances, which is right around league average. There are elements of his game that might be better suited to what Vegas is doing, and that includes the way they're working below the net and attacking below the net laterally and with pop passes back up into middle of the ice. I think Bussi's game's he's got a little more length on the breakaways too. When he gets spread out, he's just got more coverage than Freddie does. He's not that much bigger physically, but he's way longer in terms of his ability to extend and stretch and use his limbs. He's got a little Jakub Dobiš in him, to be honest with you, a little bit more of that type of athleticism in his game and a willingness, not initially, but once he reads shot, to get out there, be aggressive, and play that style of game. So I don't know what the right answer is, but I'd definitely be tempted to give him a go in Game 4 if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes.
All right. Kev, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jason.
It's Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. We'll talk coaching in the NHL. Somebody's off the market. Somebody's allegedly on the market. We'll get to all that on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
$250. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Busy Monday night, of course. NBA, the Knicks could go up 3-0, baby. We'll see. Also got some Jays game. We'll have that game right here after the conclusion of our show. But first, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's and the dollar drink. Summer days are here at McDonald's. You can sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced tea coffee for only $1 each, plus tax, right now at McDonald's. And a name that I know the orders were interested in as over the Maple Leafs, but ends up in LA. Peter Laviolette is the new head coach of the Los Angeles Kings. John Hoban from Ayers Manor joins us. Johnny, not a shock, really, that they went with an experienced coach in LA. Who else did you hear was in the running for this gig?
Well, first off, Greg, it's always good to talk to you. But yeah, it really came down to three people. You had DJ Smith, who was the interim head coach that Ken Holland, the general manager of the Kings, had said from the very beginning was going to be given serious consideration and among his handful of candidates that he would be interviewing and looking at, considering the job, especially that he did at the end of the season, getting the team into the playoffs. But it did always sort of feel like they wanted to go in a different direction and get a new voice. Now, Jay Woodcroft was considered one of the other top three candidates. It would be a new voice for the Kings, but an old voice for Ken Holland, somebody that he has a relationship with, as you know, everybody listening knows. So Laviolette was the other guy that was interviewed, and it sort of came down to those three late last week. It seemed like the Woodcroft thing might be happening. So we're not quite sure what happened over the weekend and how it all landed. But the most interesting thing for me is that general managers, as you know, tend to hire people that they trust, people that they've had some sort of a relationship or a connection to. It's not about hiring friends. It's about hiring people that you trust. And there's no relationship. There's no connection between Laviolette and Ken Holland. So it's one of the more interesting aspects of this hiring, but certainly his resume speaks for itself, having taken 6 teams to the Stanley Cup playoffs and the success that he's had behind the bench in numerous cities. So now the task at hand is getting LA over the hump, which, as we all know, 0 for 5 in the first round.
Yeah, that's been a problem for sure. I think it was clear when they acquired Panarin that the organization was going to change kind of how they played, which was always similar to, sit back, try to play defensive hockey, and it simply didn't win. Now, I know that Kopitar was a leader on their team and was an unbelievable two-way player. I still think that, you know what, you ask Anze Kopitar to play a little bit more offensive, he would have said, sure, no problem doing it. He's a pretty good player. So, but Panarin comes in, you've got Fiala, your team's built to be more aggressive. I'm assuming that had to be part why they thought Laviolette was a fit, because historically that's how his teams play.
Yeah, absolutely. This team, even before the Panarin acquisition, the team really has known that they needed to open things up a little bit. And everybody talks about within the organization about, the defensive structure being in their DNA, going all the way back to the Cup years, et cetera. But this is a completely different roster. There have been dozens and dozens of moves since then. And so while it might be in the DNA and guys like Drew Doughty might be here still in Los Angeles, things need to open up offensively. You're not going to be able to win games, 2-1. And even though things tighten up in the playoffs, they needed to be able to, or they need to, I should say, be able to make some improvements on the power play, something that Jim Hiller did in his first year. And then it kind of seemed to slide backwards in the time period after that. So they need help on the power play. They need help scoring more goals. Sure, they can keep their defensive identity as part of their DNA, but they're going to have to open things up. And that's where guys like Kempe, that's where guys like Panarin, even Fiala can have some success. And you saw Kuzmenko, who's an unrestricted free agent, but, he had some initial success in Los Angeles as well. So Laviolette has that history, as you mentioned there, with Panarin in New York. And he also was Kevin Fiala's first head coach in the NHL. So at least there are at least 2 guys on the roster that he has some familiarity with.
Okay. Any ideas on coaching staff?
It's the $1 million question as of right now. So I'll give you a couple of nuggets. I did talk to a couple of other NHL coaches, not head coaches, they're assistant coaches, but of course they're talking to their agents and they're wanting to know if there's opportunities and whatnot. And the Phil Housley question has come up. This is somebody who has close ties to Laviolette. Is he able to bring him in as an assistant coach? So we're trying to nail down that information and we'll find out. There is that whole thing about DJ Smith, and was he going to return, under Woodcroft? That might have made a little bit more sense because you're talking about a guy who's an assistant coach who's stepping in to become a head coach again, and he has a relationship with Holland. So if the GM is requesting, at least this is the way that I read the tea leaves, hey, we'd like to bring DJ Smith back, Woodcroft might have been more amenable to that idea. But when you're talking about a guy with the resume of Laviolette, he's not taking I would assume, he's not taking anybody on as an assistant coach at the request of anybody. He feels that he's probably earned his stripes to be able to bring in his own team. Now, maybe he interviews DJ Smith and he ends up liking him and he wants to keep him on But you also have another thing involved besides Phil Housley and besides DJ Smith, knowing that NHL coaches typically have one defensive-minded assistant and one offensive-minded assistant. The name Matt Green comes into the equation as well. It was so interesting when Matt Green was appointed an assistant coach in Los Angeles, because everything that had ever been said privately for years was that Matt Green didn't have any interest in coaching. That's why he really never was up for the job at the AHL level in Ontario or for any of the previous openings in Los Angeles as an assistant coach. He seemed to sort of love his life and was enjoying being part of the development staff. And he's on the ice with the prospects, and he's contributing to the organization for many, many years, or in a different role. But that just being an assistant coach wasn't something that he was really interested in. So, did he sign up and do that as a favor to the organization, perhaps? And during that time period here for the last 8 weeks of the season, did he get the coaching bug? Did he get the itch? Does he want to be there? Don't know. Matt Green is famous for not talking to the media, especially since retirement. So I don't think you're going to get anything out of Matt Green, but we'll have to see over the next couple of days how this sort of shakes out and who's going to be a part of his staff. That's only on the defensive side. Then of course you have the question of Newell Brown. Will he be returning? I wouldn't think so. Again, I think that Lavi's going to want to bring in his own people. So give us a couple of days and we should have the info there.
You look at the offseason for the Kings. So now they got their coach in place. What do you feel from a player standpoint is priority number one in the offseason?
There's really two priorities. Priority number one has to do with priority number two. So I link them together as 1A and 1B. Priority number one is really finding a center. I don't care if you call it a 1C or a 2C. You have Quentin Byfield, and then it gets pretty thin after that from a top six standpoint. So they need to get another center. You're going to have to go out into the market either through a trade or through free agency. Both have their own sort of challenges given the Kings' limited assets and sort of where they are after they signed Brandt Clark to an extension. But the second piece that ties into all of this is Drew Doughty. Because if you end up doing something with Drew, he's coming into the final year of his contract and he wants an extension. There's probably not an extension available at the money figure that he's talking about in Los Angeles, unless he's willing to take a steep discount to return. And even then, there's sort of been some rumblings and some talk about how do you ratchet his minutes back. This has been talked about for many, many years, and it's never happened. He continues to get top minutes. And just it's time for him to sort of maybe take that one step back. Kopitar never did. He was the number one center in Los Angeles all the way up until his retirement. So what's going to happen with Drew Doughty? That's going to have to be addressed because the money that you could potentially free up, that has an impact on how much money really is available. Because if Drew stays and if Brandt Clark gets his extension in sort of the range that is expected, you're probably only looking around $8.5 million to fill that other center position. So if you want more money to go out and pick up somebody, obviously Robert Thomas is at that level, but if you want to get somebody that might cost you more money, Drew's money is something that is available if you're able to swing a deal. So Doughty, the decision on Doughty ties to so many other things in the organization.
Quickly, John, what would you say to the Oilers hiring Mike Babcock?
I will say this. I was absolutely floored when I heard the news earlier today. And in 3, 4, 5 people that I've talked to, they brought it up. I didn't bring it up. They brought it up, and all of them said, basically, can you believe this?
It's embarrassing.
I'm floored. I didn't think that he would be part of the conversation going forward. I don't want to link him to other people, but I would just say there are old school type coaches that fell out of favor around the league a number of years ago. And it is at least interesting. Again, they're not all the same, but it's interesting that over the last couple of years or last season, maybe 18 months specifically, you look at Q getting hired in Anaheim, guys that were just thought to not be returning to the NHL anytime soon, then start, getting linked to different teams. So, it's interesting. I don't know what to say. It's interesting. It's not the direction I would have gone, and it certainly isn't the direction that I would have expected the Oilers or any other team to be going at this point. But, hey, we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. Who knows?
Yeah, we will see. Well, Johnny, great to always catch up with you, man. I appreciate it. And we look forward to see what happens at the draft. And who knows, maybe all the rumblings. I got to ask you one last one. Like, I know that the first list came out and it was only 3 teams, and I kind of chuckled. Like, Dylan Larkin might not be getting traded if he thinks he's going to get to go to one of those 3 teams. But how much interest do you think? Like, do the Kings have the pieces, do you think, that it would take to get Larkin?
Yeah, it's 2 different answers there. One, absolutely, I think the Kings would be interested, not only because he's a former Red Wing and Holland had some fingerprints on that, but just they're interested. They need a center. We just talked about it. Now, the second question you asked was, do they have the assets? No, I don't think they have the assets unless they're moving Quinton Byfield. So if you're keeping Quinton Byfield off the table, the Kings essentially have 3 key pieces in any big deal this summer. They have 2 first-round draft picks, and they have a young goaltender in either Carter George or Hampton Sklkinski. And we've talked a lot on our podcast about which one of those we think is likely to go. But the point is, Detroit doesn't need a young goalie. They have Trey Augustine. I don't think that there's a match there. So I'm not sure how LA would put the asset package together to land a Dylan Larkin. But if anybody could do it, I guess it would be Ken Holland, who would have a history with the player.
John, great stuff, buddy. Have yourself an awesome week. Enjoy the games.
Always great to talk to you. See you soon.
There you go. That's John Rosen joining us from LA. Let's get to Connor Halley. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And it's a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle, hey, cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, you name it. They got it. Any color, almost any style. GoAuto.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
According to TSN's Darren Schrager, the Edmonton Oilers are consulting with the NHL Player Association to see if there are any objections that must be resolved before potentially hiring Mike Babcock as their head coach. Babcock is the 3 last coach in the NHL during the 2020 season with the Maple Leafs. Pierre Lavalette has been hired by the LA Kings. For reports, it's a 3-year deal. He spent last year out of the league after being fired by the Rangers at the conclusion of the 2025 campaign. In the association, Game 3 of the finals from New York, Knicks and Spurs tip off 6:30. Knicks leading that series 2-0. Major League Baseball, Jays hosting Philadelphia, first switch 5:07. We'll join that game in progress following the Jason Gregor Show on our AM feed. Elsewhere, Mariners taking on the Orioles. The Rays host the Red Sox, Yankees in Cleveland. Reds get the Padres. Giants host the Nationals, while the Brewers head to Sacramento to take on the Athletics. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk some basketball with Matt Devlin and hear another edition of the Oil Report. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
The Riverhawks are back. This week brings a theater kid takeover, a cottage-themed Pride Night, and Sunday's summertime Santa toy drive for Santa's Anonymous. Don't miss the party at the ballpark. Get tickets at GoHawks.ca.
Monday afternoon.
Just in time for the big game. Score big savings at the Brick. Save up to $1,300 off sofas. Save up to 50% on open box TVs. Plus, save up to 40% on select mattresses. And Friday to Monday, score even bigger with limited time specials and amazing door crasher deals in every department. Like the Arbor Queen bed, just $199, or a Frigidaire top freezer fridge, just $349. See store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3, saving you more money with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish
We're
Pub.
interested in
Your World Cup
the
headquarters.
Maple Leafs. They went with an LA. Who else did you hear? Shock, really? It's Johnny. Not a shock.
Including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place and Ice District. The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Need equipment on the job fast? Japa Equipment Rentals in Atchison has you covered. Excavators, wheel loaders, compaction equipment, and more backed by expert service. JapaMachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, how are you on a busy Monday afternoon? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where, guess what? Check it out for the Jason Gregor Show odds boost specialist night. We got a little Jays action, also a little NBA for you, and we have a little CFL later on this week. Of course, the Elks, fresh off biggest win in franchise history on Saturday night. That's the Elks franchise history. Why? Because they won their first game of the year in a season where they needed to, I think, get off to a good start, and they did. Cody Fajardo will join us coming up later today, and we're going to hear from the head coach later on. The only real big negative for the Elks was unfortunate Coulter Woodmansey injury, and he's going to go on the 6-game injured list. So that's that puts a little bit of a damper on the excitement of the team. Now, it doesn't mean they're winning the Grey Cup. It doesn't guarantee they're going to the playoffs. I understand all that, but you got to take steps along the way, and they needed a win. Now, ideally, you'd win at home in their first home game. Now they take Montreal. That's going to be a tougher test, no question. Alexander still can't lose in the regular season. The guy's 12-0. So that will be a tough game. But the Elks, man, I really like their defense in that game. They had 4 turnovers, not to mention probably 2 other interceptions that 99 out of 100 times. Like I watched that replay. I still don't understand how Ford didn't catch the ball. And he's got pretty good hands. I didn't understand it. Right? Ross could have had an interception. Like they had lots of opportunities for turnovers in that game. And, offensively, good. Rankin, oh my goodness. He's the most exciting player in the league. I'm sorry. Like you look at those 2 plays, the 60-yard catch and the 60-yard run. Those are mainly him, just ridiculous individual efforts. Highly entertaining. Like when he said he wanted to be 1,000 guy, it's one game. And I know it's only, I don't expect him to get 200 yards every game. But to average 50 and 50, I think it's doable. Right? Some games you might get 70 and 1, and then the next game 30, vice versa. I could see it happening. So good start for the green and gold, and we'll hear from Cody Fajardo coming up in the next hour. Also, Matt Devlin's going to join us. Bobby Webster, the GM, gets extended for the Raptors. What are they going to do? I think they're pretty happy with the regular season, but probably not happy with their playoffs. Now, injury probably had something to do with that a little bit, so we'll get to that. We got a lot of text, though, on the Edmonton orders. And looking into hiring Mike Babcock, people are Rashad reporting that the leadership group has talked to him, and if this is something that the NHL allows, they would do it. But that's the thing. Think about that for a second. Just take a step back. You want to hire a guy who hasn't won a playoff round since 2013. A guy who, when he was on Toronto, now I know that, they were younger in infancy stage, still couldn't win a series. Then he left and they won a series. And they actually won way more games in the regular season, despite not having Kadri and Hyman because they had moved on. And then he got another chance, got hired on July 1st, and had to resign before training camp opened on September 15th because he couldn't control himself. And he crossed the line again and not knowing how to deal with players. Hasn't coached an NHL game since November of 2019, coming up on 7 years. And oh, by the way, because I keep hearing everyone say, oh, you need a coach who wins. Okay. The list of coaches who have won a Stanley Cup for multiple organizations since 1955 starts with Scotty Bowman and ends with Scotty Bowman. That's it. He's the only guy to do it. Now, if that was your requirement, then why don't you hire Claude Julien? Why not Daryl Sutter? Why not Dan Bilesma? They've actually won cups since Babcock. Heck, call up Barry Trotz. If that's your prerequisite, you're not doing anything else. You're just looking at the list of guys who have won Stanley Cups. Well, then why didn't they get interviewed? Honestly, if that's your main requirement, why have none of them been interviewed? So we'll see what the orders do. And even if you want to say, Gregor, they're just doing their due diligence. Okay. I can live with that until I sit there and say, but why? Why my due diligence on Mike Babcock? What has he done to earn it? What has he done to earn it? He had a second chance. He blew it. Why do you have to give him a third chance? Because I keep repeating this. The Oilers team is good. Like, I have people texting, well, Gregor, you know what? They didn't listen to Knobloch. They'll listen to Babcock. Okay, wait a sec. They didn't listen to Chris Knobloch? What are we talking about? Chris Knobloch took over the team. The Oilers had the best record in the NHL in the 69 games after he was hired. Best record in the league. Top 5 in goals. They were, I think, 6th in goals against. Stuart Skinner was 5th in goals saved above expected. Stuart Skinner, a goalie that many of you think's terrible. And then they went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. But they didn't listen to Knobloch, right? They didn't listen to him. And then they went to the Stanley Cup Final again the next year. But no, he couldn't hold them accountable. That's why they lost. Like, are you for real? How can people believe that? Oh, he couldn't hold them accountable. They went to the Stanley Cup Final 2 years in a row. But they weren't like, did they lose the series against Florida because he didn't hold them accountable? Or did they lose the series because it came down to one game and they scored one goal? And by the way, it was Matthias Janmark on a sick pass from Cody Ceci. Probably if you had to list the two players heading into Game 7 that you thought would be the least likely to get on the scoreboard, they might have been at the top of the list. Cody Ceci's not a guy who's going to throw a saucer pass 150 feet on the tape to a streaking guy. No, I didn't expect it. You didn't expect it. But they did it in Game 7. McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, Bouchard, Nurse, all the big Ekholm. They didn't get a point. I guess it was because, though, they didn't listen to Chris Knobloch. Because somehow Chris Knobloch, you know what? He doesn't have a jerk reputation. Because if there was a jerk on the bench, somehow the jerk would have got those guys to try harder in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup freaking final. Do you honestly believe that? Man, I got some beachfront property to sell for you then, down on the North Saskatchewan. Remember that beach they had, Cons in Edmonton? What was that beach called during COVID everybody went to?
Accidental Beach.
Yeah. I got some beachfront property right there. Because if you're a sucker to believe that and repeat it, come on. Like, unbelievable. It is amazing what people will do. So, do you know what Babcock's record is since Nick Lidstrom left? It's 1-6 in the playoff rounds. 19 wins, 27 losses overall. Hey, Nick Lidstrom, arguably, if he's not the best defenseman, he's definitely in the top 3 conversation. And I don't care who the coach is. You take him off of the team, you as a coach don't look nearly as good. Hey, Greg's, any idea why Todd Nelson isn't considered from Ronnie? Honestly, Ronnie, I don't have a good answer to that. I've asked around the league. I could never get I hear, well, he doesn't interview well. But then I said, well, what does that mean? And I've never gotten a clear answer of what it means. Right? I don't get it. Hey, Gregor, regarding Auburn, nice guy, smart guy, but the players calling out the coach say they didn't want him. Who cares, perplexed over their fan? What does that have to do with anything? And guess what? If they didn't think the coach was the answer, maybe, just maybe, the players don't know what the right answer is. Is that possible? Is that possible? Maybe it's, oh, geez, the coach, he didn't, was it the coach's fault that some of his star players get frustrated very quickly and want other guys off their line all the time? Is that the coach's fault? Or maybe that's on the players. Just a thought. So you can bring in a coach that your star players like. Great. Awesome. Are the star players like, and hey, I'm not sitting here criticizing the star players because last year, coach wasn't good enough, but neither were they. They were good enough defensively as a team. Leon Draisaitl even admitted it. My defensive game wasn't where it needs to be. And this was a guy who was 6th in Selke voting the year before. And again, they want to get rid of Knobloch. They got rid of Knobloch. We're not even talking about Knobloch being fired. I'm talking about the lame assertion that they didn't listen to the coach. They made it to the Stanley Cup final his first year. Had the best record in the NHL his first year. Yeah, but they didn't listen to him. No, they didn't listen to him at all. They just blocked him out. But Mike Babcock's going to come in, and they're all going to listen to him. And it's going to be great. And they're going to win a championship. But here's the thing. They could win a championship because the team is good. I've said that. I don't think coaching is what's holding them back. It's become the new thing. Coaching and goaltending. That's always what's get blamed in Edmonton. Coaching, goaltending. Coaching, goaltending. That's what gets blamed in Edmonton. Nothing else. There's nothing else that's ever been wrong. And then guess what? They've been really close. They lost Game 7. They lost Game 6, Stanley Cup final. It's pretty close. Some key injuries. But here's the thing. Give me one reason outside of, well, he won a cup in 2008 that make Mike Babcock a good decision today. I'd just like to hear one. I'd be curious, what's the good reason? Why? What has he done? What has he shown? Where has he grown? Please let me know. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, just give McDavid and Leon Filthy Bruce. Let's go. Hey, guys, if the leadership group says it's okay, maybe you don't need a coach. I think it's pretty clear the coach isn't the problem. No. There's And here's the thing. I don't know if there's a problem in Edmonton. I don't believe that just because you don't win, there has to be major problems. Only one team can win. You go to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final and you lose by a goal. I don't think your team was bad. It came down to one game and you lost it by one goal against another really good team. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. I don't think there's a major problem. Now, this past season wasn't as good, but I'll reiterate it. If McDavid, Draisaitl, Henrique, and Dickinson aren't hurt in the first round, do they beat Anaheim? I'm pretty sure they do. Now, I have no idea what would happen against Vegas. Maybe they beat them, maybe they don't. I'll never know. But I don't think it would have been outside the realm of possibilities that they could have beat them if they were healthy. Because what you do in the regular season ultimately doesn't guarantee success or failure in the playoffs. You can get hot at the right time. You start playing up to your potential at the right time. Maybe you can go deep. You get some bad luck. You get a bad injury. Maybe all of a sudden everything that looked good falls apart. Look at Tampa Bay, Boston, and Colorado since 2019. 3 of the greatest regular seasons we've had. Boston didn't get out of the first round. Tampa Bay didn't win a game, and Colorado lost in the third round, didn't win a game. So it's hard to win. But I'm a believer in karma. And I'll just say this. If the Oilers hire Mike Babcock, I believe in karma, it'll be much harder to win. Not impossible, just harder. They probably don't care about my opinion. That's totally fine. I don't care about their opinion on my opinion. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change my opinion. Mike Babcock could sit in the studio right across from me. And unless he gave me an answer to show that he'd actually admit why his actions were so terrible, why'd you talk to Johan Franzen that way? Why did you think benching Mike Modano in with 4 games left in the season so he couldn't get to game 1,500? Why was that important? Your team was making the playoffs, right? They didn't need, it wasn't like they were battling for a playoff spot down the stretch when you're like, oh my God, we might not make the playoffs here. That wasn't an issue at all. So tell me why you needed to do it. What was the control that was telling you, oh my God, I got to do this? I'd love to hear the answer. Right? Because you know where they were with 4 games to go in the regular season? In first place. They were in first place. So there's no reason why you would do that. Just be a jerk. 1,500 games is a big thing. He can never play 1,500 games. And you know what? Anybody out there, you know it. Let's say you're on a mission to lose weight and you want to get down to 180 pounds. That's at 181. You're still you've accomplished it, but you're one away. It's different. You know, I've been working out. I want to get up. I want to gain. I want to get to 190. I'm working out. I'm training. God, I'm at 189. I'm at 189. Can't get to 190. Now, the difference is you'll always have more time to get there. You can work out for another 2 weeks or 3, whatever it takes. Mike Modano couldn't. He was retiring. His career was over. Because Mike Babcock decided with 4 games remaining in the season that I'm going to bench. And by the way, I hadn't benched him for the 10 before. And then I played him in the 3 after. But no, I had to flex my muscles. And then I'm going to embarrass Mitch Marner. And then I'm going to invade the privacy of my Columbus players. And I'm going to chalk it up to, well, it was a bad decision. Give me a break. We'll take a quick break. We'll return on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Did you know there are actually 3 seasons we experience in June? Spring, summer, and construction season. And while roads may be narrowed and detours are everywhere, GS construction crews are on site every day doing the work because the city doesn't stop, and neither do we. As we build and upgrade infrastructure, life continues around us. That's why we never lose sight of what matters most, making sure everyone, including our team, returns home safely at the end of the day. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go?
Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of nutrition school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Day or night, tasting just right. You can do at oodle-noodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle-noodle at oodle-noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodle-noodle.ca. Oodle-noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.330, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Speaking of bad things, man, you look at lots of these World Cup teams and what's happening with them when they arrive in the United States. Oh, my goodness. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. It's a good thing we're just worried about who's a head coach or not. That's really, at the end of the day, that's kind of minor. Grand scheme of things. I still will strongly disagree with it if Edmonton actually does make that hire. But at the end of the day, it's not going to affect my family or my life one iota. So there you go. Now, let's talk a little hoops. NBA final. The Knicks, 2 wins away from their first championship since 1973. Woo! And hey, they won the first 2 on the road. No team in NBA history has lost the opening 2 games on home court and come back to win the series. Now, 5 teams have gone down 2-0 in the NBA final and come back to win, including the Bucks a few years ago. But they lost the first 2 on the road and then came home for games 3 and 4 and then got back into the series. So a little bit different for the Spurs. The Spurs are going to try to make history. Meanwhile, the Knicks are going to try to end a lengthy losing streak. As we get to our NBA report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And we are joined by the voice of the Raptors, Matt Devlin, talk little finals and extension for Mr. Webster as a GM. Matt, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, bud?
I'm excellent, man. Hey, the NBA playoffs have been very good. The Knicks, I'll be honest, I don't think anybody saw the Knicks going on a 13-game winning streak. Like, they're crushing everybody almost for fun right now, Matt. Give me your thoughts on the Knicks and their quest for a ring.
Well, a resilient group, right? I mean, if you're the San Antonio Spurs, you're up 14 in the third quarter of game one, you lose. Mr. Clutch, Jalen Brunson, exceptional, as he always is, right? 5 minutes or less in a game. Then game two, Brunson goes 1 or 2 from the foul line, and you have an opportunity late in that game, if you're the Spurs, to come out with a W, and they can't get it done on their home court. They're in trouble. That's just a fact. And the supporting cast has been exceptional. Whether it be Bridges, OG Anunoby, the former Raptor, Josh Hart, 15 rebounds, game one, his defensive play. And then when you add in somebody like Brunson, his leadership, and then it's Karl Anthony Towns. And, he's a player with exceptional talent, as everybody that follows the NBA knows. Can he be consistent game in and game out? He has that ability. Everybody knows that. There's been some ups and downs, but he was great in game one, great in game two. And if he can continue, that reality of it is the Knicks are going to win their first title, as you mentioned, since 1973. They were there in 94 and 99 and were unable to capture it. But tonight, game three, what's on the line. Anybody in any sport in the best of game series, how pivotal game three is.
Yes, it will be. Karl Anthony Towns, his response to Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal on TV after game one was one of the best answers I've seen from an athlete in a long time. And I loved, the honesty about it. The vulnerability about it, and talking about losing his mother, and how man, it's the NBA Finals, and I really wasn't that nervous. I know it sounds strange, but I was just felt like a kid, and it was like she was watching me in the crowd. Like, man, it just sometimes there's certain things where I look and just say, you know what, I don't know if I believe in certain karma and all those sort of things, but sometimes it's like, man, that just like seems like a team that's destined right now on the path that's going to get him to a championship.
Yeah, I think I don't disagree with you there. I mean, I think that it's, a situation, if you look at the Knicks, they understood what this year was all about. They make it to a conference finals, as we know, for the first time, in a couple of decades. A season ago, they fired Tom Thibodeau, who laid the foundation there. And it, in a way, I think with this group, and Mike Brown, not taking anything away from Mike Brown. He's an excellent coach. He's won a title before, as we know. He's had a tremendous amount of success and a very long and successful career. But this was a group of players that knew, the time is now. And I think lost in some of it is Jalen Brunson gave up a significant amount of money in order to stay there, very much like McDavid did in his 2-year deal, obviously. And we know with the NBA, the numbers are different, but he left upwards of $100 million on the table and signed a $154 million deal because he knew with the cap and with everything in play that keeping OG Anunoby and OG signed the largest deal in the history of the New York Knicks, and having the ability to acquire Karl Anthony Towns, that ultimately, would propel this franchise forward. And he sets the tone. There's just no doubt about it. And so, the point of that, whether it was, they talked to Jason Kidd, Mike Dunleavy, they're not Mike Dunleavy, pardon me, Billy Donovan. They were trying to get Billy Donovan out of Chicago. There was a few different head coaches in the mix. Obviously, Mike Brown ends up with that job because other franchises wouldn't let them speak to their head coach. In Edmonton, about that. But, the reality of it is that this is a group that I think they understand what it takes, and they have the fortitude, the resiliency to get it done based upon the first two games of this series and how they ended and how heartbreaking it must be for San Antonio. And you can say, oh, well, you know what, let's get one and then we'll try to get two. It'll be tough on the Knicks home floor. It's a tough place to play. The crowd, the Knicks fans, Raptors certainly know about that. It's been a long while since the Raptors have won at the world's most famous arena, and the vibe there is going to be exceptional tonight.
Let's get to the Raptors and Webster extension. And, this is a pretty big bounce back year for the Raptors after a tough 25. They come back, really good record for most of the season, get into the playoffs. Obviously didn't go the way they wanted down the stretch. But what do you make of Webster, and what do you kind of feel will be his main priorities this offseason?
Well, I think that for Bobby Webster in year one, he did an exceptional job because his team did take a significant leap, right? When you look at the win totals, obviously in a rebuild, 25 wins, 30 wins, and now you go to the 5th seed, you take Cleveland, who, interestingly enough, advanced beyond Detroit, which I think surprised a lot of people in the league. It certainly surprised me based upon, what I saw in the first round from Cleveland. But this is a young group that you understand where they are. And you have Scotty Barnes, who's 24. He's not going to turn 25 until August. Jacoby Walter, who came around the second half of the season, shot 47% from three. Jamal Shed, what he can bring. Obviously, you didn't have Brandon Ingram. He ended up having surgery for bone spurs that he was trying to play through and couldn't ultimately in the playoffs. Emmanuel Quickly was out, and Jakob Poeltl obviously dealt with injuries throughout the course of the season. But this is a group that I think when you look at the play of rookie Colin Murray-Boyles, his ability to guard 1 through 5, along with Scotty's ability to guard 1 through 5. The identity is set defensively. And this summer, there's a couple of things at play. Number one, can you retain Sandro Mamukelashvili? He has a player option. He'll opt out. Sandro was a key piece to the bench. And the ability to play both the 4, stretch 4 and 5. And then, from a contractual standpoint, there are 2 contracts that are cumbersome right now. Under the old CBA, they work better than they do in the new CBA, and that's Emmanuel Quickly and Jakob Poeltl. So there's some work to be done. Does that mean that happens now? No, that doesn't mean that at all. That could happen later. Doesn't even happen this season. It could be the following season. You do have RJ Barrett coming into the final year of his contract. And then obviously you have the 19th pick in the first round. You'd love to see a bounce back from Grady Dick. So there's, some internal growth that the Raptors have always believed in that can definitely happen. And then it's looking around the East saying, hey, there's a lot of teams that are going to be better next year. And can we build upon what we built on this year? And, those are all things that we'll find out, as training camp gets underway and then into the season.
Matt Devlin joins us. You look at the Raptors and, like the Eastern Conference, obviously got the Knicks, you got the Celtics, the 76ers finally won a few rounds in the playoffs this year, which is good for them. Cleveland's a team that beat them, and, they got all the way to the conference final before they got ran over by the juggernaut right now that is the Knicks, like everybody else in the East. But you mentioned teams getting better. The Raptors, as good of a season as they had, Matt, they do have to improve because it seems like everybody else around them is as well in the East.
Well, certainly when you look at, teams like Indiana that had a down year, Halliburton, who's back in the gym now, he was out all of last year. They took a gamble getting Ivica Zubac from the Los Angeles Clippers, who's he'll be a dominant force on the inside for them, but they also ended up at the 5th pick, and in that trade, it was top 4 protected. So the Clippers end up with the 5th pick. Washington, they have Anthony Davis, Trae Young, obviously Anthony Davis, a aging star that hasn't been healthy throughout his career. And then Trae Young, he was moved over from Atlanta. That to me, in Washington, they have some good young players. And how significant of a step can they make? But they can make a step. You already mentioned Boston. Obviously, the New York situation. Cleveland's going to be interesting because, James Harden's a free agent. They're the only team in the second apron this year. They had the most expensive payroll in the NBA. The tax is going to be exorbitant because of that. So that's interesting. Atlanta took a massive leap, as we know, this year. So the East is definitely on the rise. I mean, there's question marks, with certain organizations, Milwaukee being one, with Giannis kind of, looming, and what ultimately happens there. But all in all, next year, at least early on, and here we are in, June, right? And the draft and free agency have not happened, and injuries and all the other different things that take shape over the course of the season haven't happened. But next season could be, a more competitive year, not only in the East, but throughout the NBA, because of the tanking rules that are going to be changing and the amount of teams that were looking to tank last season to get Cooper Flag. And then this season, obviously, the debate about whether it's Peterson with Kansas or AJ DeBansa, as well as a couple of other different names, that organizations felt as though, they needed to take a lot more L's than W's this year in order to try to get a game changer.
Give me your thoughts. Do you think the Spurs can make the comeback no one's ever seen, or are the Knicks going to win for the first time since 73?
They'll win for the first time since 73. And it's so much, as I mentioned earlier, to do with how the Spurs lost the first 2 games on their home floor. And when you have victory right there and it's taken from you twice, that's why tonight, right? Everybody knows the impact of Game 3. And if the Spurs win tonight, they're going to be like, okay, all we need is one. And then, we're tied up and it's a best of 3 and here we go. But with where the Knicks are right now, I can't imagine that this is a team that, over the course of the next 5 games, isn't going to be able to pick up 2 more wins. And as I mentioned before, it's so much about just what Jalen Brunson brings from a leadership standpoint, and then the play of Karl Anthony Towns. And you have to have the other pieces, and they do, right? OG Anunoby, as a defender, as somebody that can knock down the 3 ball, plays with force. Mikal Bridges as well, Mitchell Robinson, all the different factors that they have, McBride, and I'll tell you what, if the Knicks win for the first time since 73, there's just a lot of parallels when you think about Toronto, the Maple Leafs, and the Knicks, right? Two storied franchises that it's just been a long time. And they're, New York is a mecca of basketball. People say Toronto's a mecca of hockey. Well, we know it's been since 67 with the Maple Leafs, and for the New York Knicks, 73 is a long time ago. And the Knicks fans, like the Maple Leaf fans, they've been waiting, and it's right there for them. It literally is right there for them.
Yeah, it'll be awesome if they win. It'll be quite the celebration for sure. Just not outside the building tonight. Matt, appreciate your time. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Gregor, you got it, bud.
There you go. That is Matt Devlin, the longtime voice of the Toronto Raptors and the Knicks halfway. What's crazy about the playoffs is, yeah, you're 2 wins away, but if you're a fan of the team, you're never that confident until you're like up late in the 4th win. It's just how it is, as it should be. It's a little nerve-wracking. Like, imagine being a Carolina fan or a Vegas fan on Saturday night. That was wild. Absolutely wild. Because most people thought it was over, and rightfully so after the second period. You're like, okay, they're going to Bussy. You're just going to play out the string. Oh, my God, we're giving up a penalty shot? And boom, he stays it. Okay, that's pretty good. And then Carolina scores 3 goals in 39 seconds. Amazing. Obviously never been done before in the Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas blows a 4-goal lead in the final. And then they come back and win it on lucky goal. But, man, that game had everything. This series, playoffs, have been wild. Take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get more on the orders. Got a lot of text to get to here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Experience the home ice advantage with your window coverings. Novo Blinds provides factory direct pricing and fast turnaround on roller, zebra, blackout, drapery, and motorized blinds. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
I've got some good news if you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck. The 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy $6.50 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place and Ice District.
There's one game that kicks off summer, June 20th at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The Elks home opener, Elks Alouettes, presented by James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. Lock in your tickets now at goelks.com/tickets. Our city, our year.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think,
"Wow, great hair."
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Puck Drop special at Papa John's. A large 2-topping pizza and 8-piece wings for $28.99 with promo code PuckDrop at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
$350. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We got lots and lots of text to get to 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, if we're that desperate, just put Mac Tea and coffee behind the bench. At least they're good humans. This is asinine to even consider hiring Babcock from Sheldon. The crazy thing is we don't even know if they would hire Cassius. They haven't even been able to talk to him yet from Sean. Oh, I think if they had a chance to talk to him, they probably would have been hiring him. Hey, Gregor, do you think Tortorella was a good choice for Vegas just out of interest sake? From Dallas. Well, it's worked out for them. But John Tortorella is not Mike Babcock. They're not even close comparable. Does John Tortorella have a track record of situations matching Mike Modano, Johan Franzen, Mitch Marner, Columbus Blue Jacket players? Like, that's the thing. Like, everybody talks about, they need a coach who's hard on guys. They need a coach who's accountable and demanding they're going to listen to. Okay. So Babcock's all those things. But he hasn't won a playoff round since 2013. But if he's so accountable, wouldn't they just win? Because clearly that's what they need. But if you're looking for a coach who's accountable, then why not hire Daryl Sutter? If that's your prerequisite, if that's your main thing, why isn't Daryl Sutter getting hired? Pretty sure he's won 2 cups since Babcock won his. Just saying. Hey, Gregor, there was regression in every metric with Knobloch. Really? There was regression his first year, EG? And his second year, he went from Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. And did he sign and trade away any of the players that left from the 2024 team to the 2025 team? Just let me know. Hey, Gregor, maybe the Oilers should call Marner and ask him what he thinks about Babcock. Yeah. No. Whoa. You can't talk to Vegas people, man. They're focused on the cup. There's no time right now. Maybe when it's over. We'll see. Hey, guys, if Pavelski's getting looks after coaching minor hockey, why not try out Jason Smith, who coached WHL for Mo? Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting one. The name popped up. Now, they've interviewed 20 people, supposedly. And like I said, I have no problem if you want to uncover a long list of coaching candidates. Doesn't seem to really be the case here in Edmonton. It seems like they're hell-bent on we need a coach who won before. And I think it's narrow-minded to just look and say, whoever we talk to, it has to be somebody who's won a Stanley Cup. My question to that is why? Why is that so important? Because no coach since 1955, other than Scotty Bowman, has won a Stanley Cup on a second team. So why would the most important part of your hiring process be getting a coach who's won if your main goal is to win, when history tells you in the 61 years, one coach has done it. In the last 61 years, one coach has won with two different teams. That's it. Now, the advantage Edmonton has is I still believe they're a pretty good team. I honestly believe wholeheartedly with everything I have, they would have been Anaheim if they're healthy. I can't say they would have been Vegas. I have no idea. But they've got enough talent to be a legit contender. Now, do they need to be a little bit more consistent defensively? Yes. But when the coach did it the first year in his new system, do you honestly think he changed his system to become magically less defensive? Or the players just stopped playing as attentive to detail as they did his first year? Because I don't know any coach who would say, man, we had a lot of success playing this way. So you know what? Let's change it. That doesn't happen very often, does it? A lot of coaches, even if they don't have success, will stick with the same system because they feel it will lead to success. So does anybody actually believe that Chris Knobloch came in the next year? You know what, guys? Man, we had the best record in the NHL when I took over in 69 games. Then we went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. But you know what? I'm going to change it. I want us to be loosey-goosey defensively now. Do you honestly believe that? I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not saying coaches aren't important. Coaches are important. But your quality of players is the most important thing. Now, and then your coach can play his role and help. If you have, an A team, maybe they can make it an A+ team. But if you have a B team, the coach ain't making you an A+ team. It's not happening. Right? Your players ultimately are the decision makers on the ice. And so this text from Stan, hey, Gregor, what do you make of the Oilers leaders meeting with Babcock? Supposedly have agreed that it would be fine. Does that change your opinion? Not at all. No. They're entitled to their opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. I'm going to base my opinion on the facts and the history of the coach that they're going to hire. He has a track record that has spanned decades, from Franson to Modano to Marner to the Columbus Blue Jackets, of doing things and treating his players in ways that you shouldn't. Like when you have Chris Chelios, who came up in a much different era, saying, watching Johan Franson have a breakdown, talking about how he listened to the coach, how he talked to him on the bench. The worst thing he'd ever seen. Chris Chelios saying this. Maybe you'd be like, whew. Maybe we should look into that. Just a thought. Because have you seen anywhere? All Mike Babcock said in that interview with Friedman when he did it after, well, it was a bad decision. I was trying to get Mitch Marner to focus on work ethic. And so it was a bad decision. What? It was a bad decision to ask a young player to rank his teammates from hardest worker to least hardest. And then not only do that, but then show the teammates. You actually think that was just a bad decision. No, it wasn't. It was you trying to show your power. And trust me, the superstar players in Edmonton, he's going to go after because this is what bullies do. Right? You didn't see him talk to Chelios that way, or Lidstrom, or Datsuk, no, he goes after Johan Franzen. Goes after young Mitch Marner. Goes after the young guys in Columbus. That's what bullies do. Try to pick out on the weak people. So he's going to say all the right things to McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman. Certainly. I'll just say the Oilers, you hire Mike Babcock, nothing's going to change my mind. Because I believe the Oilers are going to, I'll say it right now, I don't even know where the coach is. I think the Oilers are going to win the division. So I'm going to say that. I don't going to believe it's that much on coaching. Because this team, by this leadership group, has a track record of when they get a new coach, they play very well. I don't believe it's going to change. They're going to play very well. They're annoyed. They're disappointed. And as long as they stay healthy, they'll win it. So don't come to me if the Oilers win the division. See, Babcock was a good hire. No. Won't matter to me for a second at all. So, and that's why I'm not going to say the coach is irrelevant because that would be misleading. But there's just going to be small little details, the minutia, the fine tuning that might help the team get over the edge. But I go back to Game 7 of losing the Stanley Cup final. I don't think they lost it on coaching. It's one game. You lose by a goal. Remember, Florida scored first, but Edmonton responded very quickly, and it's a 1-1 game. After 20, you're in a pretty good spot, and you just couldn't find another goal. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in at Fountain Tire because not only will they get you some new tires, some new rims, all the fun stuff, they'll also, with their digital vehicle report, show you what your car needs. FountainTire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
According to TSN's Darren Grady, the Oilers consulting with the NHL Players Association to see if there are any objections that must be resolved before potentially hiring Mike Babcock as their next head coach. Babcock, 63, last coach in the NHL during the 2020 season with the Maple Leafs. Meanwhile, LA Kings hiring Peter Laviolette as their coach. Per reports, it is a 3-year deal. He spent last year out of hockey before being fired by the Rangers in 2025. In the association, Nick Spurs from New York. Game 3 gets going at 6:30. New York leading 2-0. And in the majors, Blue Jays in action, taking on the Phillies just after 5. We'll join that game in progress here on Sports 1440 AM feed only. Coming up in hour 3, we'll be joined by Edmonton Elks starting quarterback Cody Fajardo, and we'll look at the Vegas Golden Knights with Jesse Granger. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account account today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man. No way. Watching from the
1440.ca.
sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 4 o'clock. Busy Monday afternoon. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Casino, sports, lottery, instance. They got it all, including the Jason Gregor Show odds boost. You can check on that. Some MLB, some NBA tonight. Also CFL games this week. No green and gold. And I'm sure if you put some truth serum in the organization, they'd rather be playing. They're just coming off, arguably, I believe, their biggest win in Elks franchise history. They've never started 1-0 since the team change. Actually, the organization hasn't started 1-0 since 2019. So it was a big win. And one where I actually thought the scoreboard kind of flattered Ottawa. I thought Edmonton controlled that game even more than an 8-point victory. So we'll see that you get some confidence, and confidence can be a very powerful thing in pro sports, like in life. And we'll see where the green and gold go from here as we go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action on your savings. The most diversified electrical contractor in the province can help you. That is actionelectrical.net. And we are joined by the starting quarterback of the undefeated Edmonton Elks, Cody Fajardo joins us. Cody, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. What is the secret to staying dry in such a rainy game like that?
A game like that, I don't think there is a secret. I wish I had something for you there. The hardest thing is trying not to let my hands get pruny. I prune pretty quickly. So once your hands get pruny, it gets kind of slippery on the ball. So that was the biggest thing. Everything on my body was just soaking wet. It was my hand warmer was wet. My towel was wet. My pants were wet. My jersey was wet. So just trying to find a way in the elements to not turn the ball over, not give them a short field, not give them instant points. And I'm proud of our offense. I mean, 0 turnovers in that kind of weather speaks to the volume of what we were trying to do offensively.
So what do you do then to avoid your hands getting pruny?
There's nothing. I like I said, that was probably the wettest game I've ever been a part of. So I had a towel inside my hand warmer, and after every series, I would go to the sideline to Dan and say, "Hey, I need a new towel." So it was just a new towel in there every single series, and that was the best thing I could do with the given situation. It worked well enough. I felt like I had decent control on the ball all night, and I thought our receivers caught the ball really well. TJ makes an incredible catch. on one ball down the field. And then one play later, Austin Mack makes an awesome catch in the back of the end zone. Like, you could tell our receivers were unbothered by the weather, which was really encouraging.
So you look at that game and the importance of it. I know you haven't been here for the whole time, Cody, but for an organization, like, winning matters, right, guy? You practice hard, you work out all off season, you want to win, right? You want to play, but ultimately you want to win games. And this franchise hasn't won their first game of the year since 2019 until Saturday night. And now you're in a bye week, and just the mental state of a team after a win, I don't know if you can really describe the difference, but how big do you think that win was just for your team to get off to a good start?
I mean, it was incredibly huge. We talked all off season about how we wanted to start fast, and there was a lot of pressure on the team, on the organization, coaches, players, everybody that was involved, that we wanted to start fast because we knew that the first time that this organization, or last time the organization won a game, was 2019, their opening game. So we knew we wanted to just kind of let the guys know of the situation. Obviously, none of the guys were around, except I think Beardo was the only one still on the team in 2019. But a lot of guys obviously weren't around for that. So we wanted to be the change, and that was kind of my message to the guys throughout the week, is the only way to make it any difference of an outcome is to be the change. And I felt like we did that. So going into a bye week and now going into our home opener after this bye week with some momentum and getting the fans back on our side, and just kind of carrying that momentum from last season. And like I told you earlier on in this in the off season, was there's one reason I came back, and that was to win football games. And to see it happen in week one, it's a great feeling for all of us in that locker room.
Cody Fajardo joins us. And now, Cody, I know you're never satisfied, even after a win. Your defense did a great job of giving you guys the ball. And you had a really good, opportunity moving the ball downfield, but obviously you'd like a few more of those field goals turned into touchdowns. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the film or not afterwards, but what would you like to see different for you guys to extend those drives and turn them into touchdowns, not field goals?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. I kind of watched it with a critical eye, like I always do, but a little bit softer, just because given the elements, given the week one, and kind of those week one games, you have no idea what the defense is going to give you. It's all about adapt and survive on the sideline. There was things that they did defensively in the red zone that we weren't preparing for that kind of caught us off guard. I missed the ball early on to Keon. That could have been a touchdown right there. Another one, we had an unfortunate bust between two receivers. They ended up running the same route. So that was another one. We had a drop ball. I threw a terrible pass to TJ in the dirt. So just looking back, like, there was a lot of things that we could have just helped ourselves. And I kind of heard you mention it when I just got on the show, was like the score kind of was a little bit more in favor of Ottawa. Like, I felt like we controlled that entire game, and we were in the red zone 5 times and had to kick, 5 field goals and only scoring 1 touchdown. So we looked at it with a critical eye, but also we don't want to put too much on it, because we knew the given situation. We knew that it was about protecting the ball and getting points at any possible outcome. So if the game was sunny and no wind and no problem, I would have been a little bit more frustrated with the offensive production in the red zone. But given the state of the game, I'm really pleased with how the guys just found a way to win the game in week one on the road out east, which is incredibly hard to do.
Cody Fajardo joins us. Justin Rankin, Cody, had 2 of the most ridiculous plays I've seen in a while that led to 60-plus yard runs. One as a catch, one as a rushing attempt. You practice with the guy all the time, and I love that he put it out there. Goes, hey, I'd like to go 1,000 and 1,000. And so, I do the math on it. I'm counting. I'm like, wow, that's a really good start. He's basically 200. He's 10% of the way there after one game. What impresses you most as a teammate about Rankin?
There's a lot of things he does really awesome on the field, but it's the stuff he does off the field, I think, that nobody gets to see. It's the way he's in the facility. He's one of the first guys in the facility. He gets there early when I'm there. You don't see very many running backs doing that, getting there at the same time as the quarterback. And there's some days he stays late and later than me. And he's just in the facility all day. He wants it. And you can see it. And the guys, we respect him. We know he puts in the hard work. And then on game day, it's like, get your popcorn ready, because this guy's going to make some plays. I said it too. I said, look, there's no reason why he can't be 1,000 back with our offense and just his talent and what he's been able to do. So this guy's got a lot of pressure on him, but I think he loves it. He loved it. His story is so incredible. And for those that don't know the story, getting cut by a team, going down to arena football, coming back. He came in as a receiver and then worked his way to running back. Like, just an incredible story of want to. And that resonates with me. It just resonates with the guys in that locker room. And he's a guy, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to come back in 2026 was to share the backfield again with him, because of how incredible he was in 2025. And now look at him 1 week in, and he's definitely at the top of the MOP conversation without a doubt after week 1.
So when you're standing there after, because you're behind him, so I'm assuming you're watching the play. When he does that sidestep, lateral move around the guy, like, are you chuckling inside your helmet at that point a little bit, Cody? Like, what goes through your head in that moment when you're watching it unfold?
I just say how incredible it is, and honestly, how easy he makes it look. Like, I think people don't understand how difficult it is for him to, especially on his touchdown run. Like, he spun off of, that was the highest paid linebacker in the league, a guy who's played really good football the last couple of years, spun off him in the hole, bounces to the outside. Everybody sees him as this bowling ball. He's, built like a Mack truck, just muscle to muscle, but the guy is fast as heck, and probably one of the fastest guys on our team. And then the breakaway speed. So it's always nice when you can turn around, hand the ball off, and then you go back to the sideline, get some water. And I feel like I didn't do anything on that drive, but when you have a guy like Rankin, it's really cool to have front row tickets to that kind of show.
So what's the plan in the off week? Because I'm assuming you're not that banged up, because you've only played one regular season game and a little bit in the preseason. So how different is an early season bye week maybe compared to later in the year when you're like, God, I really need some rest?
Yeah, honestly, it's the hard part about training camp is, it's, as a quarterback, it's not as physically demanding. It's just mentally draining. You're there all day long, every single day. It's football nonstop. You're trying to implement a new playbook. You're trying to implement your leadership on the team. You're trying to get to know new guys, relationships, how they like to perform on the field. So it's as much physically demanding as it is mentally. So this early bye week is really good for the guys. We got banged up in that game. That game was a bloodbath. And when you see it raining outside, usually it's going to be smash mouth old school football. And that game was that. We had a lot of guys who were gutting it out and playing through some injuries. So this bye week couldn't have come at a better time, especially like for me with the family, get to go back home, see my kids, fill up my loving cup, and then come back ready. I think we got 10 straight after this bye week. So it's much needed just to kind of get away, re-energize. But there's nothing better than winning and then going onto a bye week, because energy's high, momentum's there, and then it just pushes you through that week of, you just can't separate completely from football. So going to get started here on Montreal and Montreal's tape, and got them coming into our home opener. So be working quite a bit here on the bye week, even though I'm back in the States.
And so, Cody, when you look at the bye week, you'll have tape of Montreal's first game, but they're also playing in week 2. So do you just study kind of, okay, this is some of their base formations on what they're going to do defensively in week 1, and then you just kind of you'll get the film from week 2 and compare to see what's different?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'll watch week 1, and then you just kind of validate your thoughts from week 1 and week 2. Like, every week, every defense coordinator has their own flavor of the week, whether it's a certain blitz package or it's a certain coverage package. So every defense coordinator is a little bit different. But they'll show you as the weeks go on, what their bread and butter defensively are. So the more games we have to break down, the more that validates what exactly they're trying to do. So that's the exciting thing about being on a bye, is we get an extra bonus tape of them, and they only have one game to go off on us. And really, it was a monsoon game. So that's a huge advantage for our squad, that we got 2 games on them and they only got 1 game on us. But yeah, that's exactly it. Is just make sure you validate the things. I'll go back and watch our game in Montreal last year and just how Fort played me as a quarterback. I'll always do that with these returning defensive coordinators, just because every defense coordinator seems to play quarterbacks differently. And I kind of have a good idea, being in this league so long, is how certain coordinators want to play me. So I'll go back and watch that, and then watch the first week, and then validate things after that week 2 game gets going.
Cody, when you look at, I was going to ask you about that monsoon game. So it's hard because I'm sure there was limitations to what you wanted to do, or certain plays you would call because of the rain and everything else. Like, what's the biggest thing that maybe the offense was limited in because of the weather?
Yeah, well, surprisingly, we wanted to get Rankin more involved in the passing game, and we were just unable to do that with what Ottawa was doing defensively. They were bringing a lot of pressure. They were bringing sand pressure, which is to the field, or boundary half pressure to the boundary. They were bringing a lot of DB body pressure, which was making it really hard for us to go 5-man protection. And the only way to get your running back out in pass concept is to have 5-man protection. But because it put just so much stress on us with the edge stuff, it limited some of the good calls that we had to kind of back pocket just because in that monsoon game, teams end up knowing that you're going to run the ball. And the best way to stop running the ball, especially on first down, is by bringing DB bodies in pressure, because you got your 4-down defensive linemen, you got your 2 linebackers inside, there's 6. Now you're bringing 7 and 8 guys every single time. It's hard to have that many blockers. So that was one thing that was a little bit frustrating, because I thought we had some really good stuff offensively in that kind of package. But we just rolled with the punches and just, like I said, found a way to find a way. And it was just really important for this team to start off 1-0, going into a week 2 bye week, just knowing that our roster is much more talented than we were last year. Our culture has already been established of who we want to be. We want to play behind our pads. We want to be a physical team. So that a lot of encouraging things came out of that week 1 game.
Well, Cody, congratulations on getting a much-needed win for the franchise. Enjoy the bye week, and best of luck when you guys return to take on Montreal next week. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, always great to be on your show and talking ball. And, we'll see everybody at that home opener. We're going to need everybody loud and proud.
Awesome. Thanks, Cody. That is Cody Fajardo, starting quarterback. 1-0 for the Elks. And that was his 50th career victory as a CFL quarterback. So, good for him. Interesting because I think we do have to take into account, and maybe on both sides, that the weather was a factor. Like, there's just some guys aren't going to be able to get off the ball as quick and slippery, all those sorts of things. So, and it's early on, it's 1 week. I do think, do I have some concerns about whether or not Jordan Maksimic is going to be overly aggressive offensively? I do, as a play caller. I also know that there are, like, Cody Fajardo doesn't have a cannon of an arm, right? Like, sir, there are some limitations to certain throws that he makes, right? Like, they're not going to be airing it out a ton downfield. But you can still win. He won a Grey Cup. You can still do it. You just have to do it differently, right? Having Rankin obviously is a huge, huge advantage. But I think that their red zone offense, that's the one thing that needs to improve. And I just thought overall their play calling got a little bit too conservative and passive in the second half. And we've seen that before. So regardless of weather, I'm a little concerned about that. So we'll see if it continues. But said it last week, Cons, that was a must-win game, I felt, for the Edmonton Elks, just for their organization. So kudos to them. They got a huge win. And, that should get a little bit more walk-up, probably generates a little bit more interest from the fans. And now hopefully, now Montreal would be a tougher test for sure, especially if they win this weekend, which I would expect they're going to win. They're playing Toronto right now. I don't think Toronto's that good. That you come in on a quarterback who's yet to lose a regular season game. So an opportunity to kind of send a message here, maybe go 2-0. So we'll have to see. Let's take a quick break. We will return. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger. Jesse Granger joins us next, man. And we are going to talk wild and wacky. We're on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of texts coming in. Hey, Gregor, do you think the Babcock deal is done? Well, I do know. I always look at certain things here. So look at how it's presented. Darren Dreger, probably the guy who's closer to Babcock than any insider. So he's the one who gets it. Stauffer's voice for the team. He's been pumping Babcock's tires. I add a few things together. Yeah, I think it's probably going to happen. And I don't think it's a good decision. Like I said, though, to me, I don't want people to say, Gregor, look, they won the regular season. It's irrelevant to me. I think they're going to win the regular season. I've said that 2 weeks after Nombach got fired. I said, I don't think coach was a major issue. He has an issue for sure. He was part of it. He had his responsibility. The team didn't get as far as they wanted. Injuries in the playoffs were the major one. In the regular season, I didn't like some of the coaching decisions. I didn't like the players' commitment defensively. They even admitted they lied about it all year long. Nah, it doesn't matter. No, who cares? 3 wins. And at the end of the season, what did all the leaders say? Yeah, the fact we could only win 3 games in a row, yeah, that wasn't good. They never were able to commit to playing the right way long enough. And that's not just on the coach. The coach What's he supposed to do there? But you're going to bench all your best guys? It's probably not going to work. Right? At the end of the day, the coach is limited in what he can do. He can do something, but at the end of the day, once the door opens, it's all on the players. You got to execute the game plan. You got to commit to playing smart defensively. You got to commit to managing the puck when you cross the offensive blue line and not just turn it over and lead to odd man rushes. No coach teaches that. Hey, why don't you guys enter the zone and then make a high danger pass that results in a turnover? It's never coached, ever. Now, you as a coach allow your players the creativity to make some plays, but you still got to trust them that they're going to make the right play. Most of the time. Not all the time. Most of the time. Quick break. We'll return to Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more. Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Curious to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen. Saturday, June 20th is the day to be at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail. Come live the legend because the HD semi-truck is rolling in, bringing you the exclusive chance to test ride the powerful new 2026 models. All you need is your riding gear and Class 6 license to ride. Be there to enter to win a 2026 Liberty Edition Heritage Classic, floor prizes, and more. Don't miss the ultimate ride event of the summer. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail or at hdedmonton.com.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Rev up for a ride that truly matters. Join the Princess Auto Ride for Dad Edmonton, where hundreds of motorcycles fire up and roll out together in one unforgettable moment. Enjoy a scenic route, great food, amazing prizes, fundraising awards, and a whole community riding shoulder to shoulder. Collect pledges to support prostate cancer research and awareness in the fight against prostate cancer. Ride strong, ride proud to make a difference this Saturday, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. Register now at ridefordad.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. Ewell.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.433, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Declan Kruger with us here, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. And of course, tonight we'll have the Jays game right at the conclusion of our show. Got a little Jays action against the Phillies, and Jays getting some good news. Looks like Mr. Cease is going to be back on the mound. And even Mad Max, both of them could be back in this series against the Phillies. So maybe getting some healthy bodies back. Kirk also on the verge of coming back. But man, Valenzuela's been unreal for the Jays right now. The youngster is crushing it. You want to know what else been unreal? The Stanley Cup final. Haven't seen a Stanley Cup final like this in a long, long time. Actually, got to go back all the way to 1981. The last time two teams had 25 or more goals in the first three games of a Stanley Cup final. That's a long time, baby. Long time. So it's been entertaining. It's been unpredictable. It's been wild. It's been a lot of fun. As we get to our playoff report, brought to you by Go Auto, cars, vans, trucks, SUVs. They have over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. Favorite color? They will have it. GoAuto.ca. Is Jesse Granger, beat reporter for the Vegas Golden Knights, writes at The Athletic, joins us. And Jesse, I know as a goalie guy, you might be like, "Oh man, this is a tough one." So I'll ask you, as a goalie guy, who would you start in goal if you're the Carolina Hurricanes for Game 4?
I'm glad you asked. I actually don't think it's a tough one. I think it's Brandon Bussey. I'll be honest. I thought Brandon Bussey should have started from the beginning of the playoffs. I thought he was their best goalie all year. I was a little surprised that Brind'Amour went with Freddie Anderson. Now, I can't fault the results. Anderson did play well for the first three rounds. I thought he wasn't tested much in those three rounds, and this is obviously hypothetical, but I think Bussey would have done just as well in those rounds. In my opinion, he's the better goalie of the two. And they threw him in the other night, and he played spectacularly. He was the only reason Carolina had that chance to even make that miraculous comeback in the first place. So, yeah, if I was Brind'Amour, I'd be starting Bussey. I think he's the better goalie, and I think he gives this team maybe a jolt of something new, because as crazy and back and forth as these games have been, it certainly feels like the series is swinging in Vegas's favor.
Well, it was a wild game when you think about it. Mitch Martin, they get a little bit of a break on his first goal. They get a very good break on the game winner. But in between, man, Marner stopped on a breakaway, and they have all sorts of chances. Like, it was, what did you make of that third period? And 3 goals, man, in 39 seconds for a team that had been pretty rock solid defensively. And all of a sudden, in 39 seconds, you're thinking, what the hell happened?
Yeah, it's wild. All 3 of these games, I mean, these are 2 teams that were about as good as it gets in hockey in terms of suppressing shots, suppressing chances. When they want to put the clamps on, both these teams have been able to do it for most of the season. And yet, through 3 games, neither of them can hold on to a lead. We were talking to John Tortorella just a few hours ago, and he's kind of at a loss for words. He's like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Neither team knows what's happening. We're both trying to defend. It is incredibly hard to defend a lead in this series. Obviously, both teams have good weapons. There weren't a bunch of breakdowns. You look at that 39 seconds, there weren't like major giveaways in front of their net. There weren't defensive breakdowns where they just left guys wide open. They were just really good plays. They placed shots perfectly. They got some redirects in front. I think it's just a case of both teams got a lot of skill. That's the reason they're here in the Cup final, and they've been able to kind of ride the wave of momentum in both directions. We've seen a ton of that through these first 3 games. It's been pretty insane.
So I agree with you on Bussy. That's who I would start as well. I look at Freddie Anderson. I wonder about fatigue and lots of other different things. When I just look at historically a guy like that, you could always come back to him. I know it's a big game because if you lose now, you're down 3-1, and the odds are definitely not in your favor to win. But I thought Bussy, a guy who hadn't played in almost 2 months, he came in and was outstanding for Carolina. Now, I know that Vegas will obviously probably have a little bit more of an in-depth scouting report on him. And we had Kevin Woodley on in the first hour talking about, some of how Bussy plays. I know that's an unlucky bounce, but kind of how he plays, he puts himself in position that maybe those kind of plays can happen again. But if you look at Vegas, they've seemed to have found a way to exploit Carolina's aggressiveness. Right? Carolina gave up the most breakaways in the regular season, and Vegas is finding ways to get lots of odd man rush chances and breakaway chances in this series. What have you seen specifically on how they're able to exploit that?
Yeah, they've been breaking they've been breaking the puck out along the walls incredibly well. And they've got good wingers that know how to kind of chip pucks past the defenseman. Like you mentioned, Carolina, their blue line is really good. They're super aggressive. Part of the reason that they're so dominant territorial, I mean, you look at like the shot attempts all season, they're about as dominant of a team as you'll see. Part of that is because their defensemen just pinch like crazy on the blue lines to try to hold that possession in the offensive zone. If you can time your chip outs as one of those defensemen is crashing down on you, there's nobody behind him, and it's a 2-on-1 or it's a breakaway. And Vegas has done that extremely well. They're a great passing team. At times, they're too good at passing, and they try to pass the puck in the net, and nobody wants to shoot it. But definitely, I would say probably the best strength for this Vegas team is the way they pass the puck. And if you're not careful and you don't stay above the puck, they can make you pay quick.
So you look at that third period, because that's what Carolina is going to focus on. Hey, we were able to score. We were able to come back. And this has been a wild series because no lead's safe. Every team has basically either given up a 2-goal lead each game, or in this case, a 4-goal lead. Now they ended up winning, but they've relinquished the lead in every game, Jesse. And it's highly entertaining. And everybody keeps saying, oh, you know what, eventually they're going to lock it down. I'm not sure. I think we've seen 3 games that have been pretty consistent. Both teams want to attack. I don't see there suddenly becoming a 2-1 game in this series.
Yeah, it's interesting because 50 minutes through game 2, it was 1-0, 2-0, and it looked like we had that game. I mean, it looked like that was like after the crazy game 1, I fully expected a lockdown, tight checking, no space anywhere. Both coaches are pumped with how well their teams are defending, and we got that for the vast majority of game 2, and then it just busted open at the very end. It's interesting. Part of me thinks that eventually we've got to get with these two teams and the way they've defended, we have to get a game that's kind of 2-1, 1-0, something like that. But with nothing at this point would surprise me. I'm covering this team. I thought they were at one point, it looked like they were going to miss the playoffs. this season has been pretty insane. At this point, nothing's going to surprise me. They fired their coach with 8 games left in the regular season, and now they're 2 wins away from winning the Cup. Nothing will surprise me.
You look at Vegas, Jesse, and here we are, of course, in Edmonton. There was all the talk about Cassidy, and Bruce Cassidy's been pretty vocal about it. He thinks it's a joke that he's not going to get an opportunity. And now LA's hired their head coach, and it's pointing to Edmonton's very close to hiring Mike Babcock, which I'm sure then Vegas could say, oh, now we'll grant you permission to do it. But, unless he goes to Toronto, I'm not sold he'd want to go there. I guess he would just because he wants a coach. But how do you think this goes? Like, do you think come July 1st, he'll be granted permission? Not that there'll be any openings, but that he could take a job next year. What do you think happens?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I think it's going to come down to, does Bill Foley want to pay Bruce Cassidy millions of dollars to not coach? Because if they want to pay him, then I guess they can just keep doing this. Clearly, the reason that they've given, which is that they are focused on the Stanley Cup playoffs, that is complete crap. I mean, just to be frank, that is, everybody knows that is a complete lie, and that is not the reason that they are not signing off. They don't want Bruce Cassidy to coach a team that they think they're going to be competitive with, whether that's Edmonton, whether that's LA, who obviously hired Laviolette today, but they were kind of looking at Cassidy. I think that that's pretty clearly the reason the Golden Knights haven't allowed him to interview. We'll see if Bill Foley wants to pay him to not coach. I guess that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of money for certain. How Dylan Larkin had 3 teams on his list of teams he'd go to: Minnesota, Vegas, and Florida. Now, I think Steve Yzerman might chuckle at that and say, "Hey, buddy, you got 5 years left at 8.7. If you think I'm only going to deal with 3 teams, you're probably dreaming." But how interested, if any, do you think Vegas would be when you look at their roster?
Yeah, when you look at their roster, you would immediately say not interested at all, because this team that's the strength of this team, is up the middle. They've already got centers, and they've got them locked up for a long time. Jack Eichel, obviously, his extension hasn't even kicked in yet, and he's going to be the highest paid player on the team starting next year. You've got Tomas Hertl, still quite a bit of his deal left. William Karlsson's got 2 years left, and he's been phenomenal for this team. They have Brett Howden, who is a center, but they have so many centers, he's usually playing on the wing. They've got Nick Dowd for this season and next, who they acquired at the deadline, and he's an excellent 4th-line center. This team is overflowing with centers. So therefore, logically, you'd say they probably aren't interested in Larkin, but I can't remember the last time a player was available and the Golden Knights weren't interested. So regardless of that, I think that maybe they could say, maybe we can upgrade from one of these centers to Larkin. I would never count them out for going for a player, but yeah, like I said, I think based on how much he makes, based on how their centers are, how good their centers already are, and how much cap space they've already poured into that position, it doesn't seem like the most logical fit.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Lastly, do you expect any changes outside of the goalie, maybe in Carolina? Any other lineup changes you're expecting for either team for Game 4?
No, not right now. It looks pretty static. We'll see. William Carrier was on the ice today for Carolina. He obviously missed some of that game the other night. There were a couple guys that were in and out. Noah Hannafin was kind of in and out. He ended up finishing the game. He was not at practice today. So we'll see. I don't expect him to miss the game, but that's something worth monitoring in morning skate tomorrow. But other than that, pretty much status quo for everyone. McNabb was also not out there today. I saw him walking next to the rink, and I kind of joked with him. I'm like, "Come on, man, what are you doing? Why aren't you not on the ice?" I think he deserved the night off after playing a career high in minutes after getting his nose broken with the puck. So yeah, he'll be out there. Should be good to go.
Awesome. Well, appreciate this, Jesse. Enjoy the game tomorrow night. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's Jesse Granger from The Athletic in Vegas. We'll come back. We got 5 questions, some stats of the day, Cam Tate, and much, much more on a busy Monday edition of The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Just in time for the big game. Score big savings at the Brick. Save up to $1,300 off sofas. Save up to 50% on open box TVs. Plus, save up to 40% on select mattresses. And Friday to Monday, score even bigger with limited time specials and amazing door crasher deals in every department, like the Arbor Queen bed, just $199, or a Frigidaire top freezer fridge, just $349. See in-store for details and exclude. The Brick, saving you more.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Did you know that when you play Colonial Golf Club, just 5 minutes from Edmonton and Beaumont, you can have a monkey be your caddy?
We interrupt this commercial to let you know Colonial Golf Club does offer great course conditions, greens that are always fast and true. We offer memberships, and we have a newly renovated clubhouse with a new menu offering great food and drink, but we do not offer a monkey as a caddy for you.
Oh, man. I really like monkeys.
For more details and to book, visit colonial.ca. Monkey not included.
What's it like to score a winning deal at Car West Leduc? Like raising the cup in your hometown on your birthday. Feel it now. Car West Leduc. Experience a vast, uncompromising selection of top-quality used vehicles with no extra fees. Trucks, sedans, vans, SUVs, and more. Backed by family-run service and top dealer ratings on Google. So when the final siren goes, you go home with a deal you'll never forget. Car West Leduc, 6514 Sparrow Drive, Leduc, or at carwestautosales.com.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
The hip, you don't stop. Rock it out, baby.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$451. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you're having a lovely Monday as it's time for 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where right now, stop in at the Brick. You can get up to 25% off patio furniture. You can also save up $1,300 off of sofas, $650 off sectionals, and more at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. And this question, well, a little different answer maybe 3 hours ago when we wrote it. With the Oilers apparently doing the due diligence on Mike Babcock, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think the chances are that they do actually hire him?
Oh, I'd say they're pretty high. I guess nothing's official until it's official, but yeah, I would say it's pretty high. And there's nothing that's ever going to make me change my mind that I think it's a bad decision.
I'm with you. It does seem like where there's smoke, there's fire here, and it looks like it's going to happen. I'll give a number. I'll say 8. Maybe things change, but I'm thinking in all likelihood, it does look like it's going to happen. Question number 2 for you. Do you think Peter Laviolette is the guy to get the Kings their first playoff series win since 2014? And if so, can he do it in the next 3 years?
Ooh. Well, good question. Well, they can't beat the Oilers, so I don't see that changing. Until maybe if the Oilers lose some players. Vegas, Anaheim might be their best bet. Because I think those are probably going to be the playoff teams moving forward. Vancouver isn't close. Calgary isn't really close. Seattle isn't really close. So, San Jose getting closer. So I'll say no. Unfortunately, Kings fans, I don't see it.
I'm with you. And I mean, just the way things are going here, maybe more of a question about the management and what they do to get them in a better direction to winning. But I just think that the Kings kind of going downwards. There's other teams that are trending upwards. So I'm going to say no, like you. Could get them to the playoffs, sure, but a series win, I'm not in on that. Question number 3 for you. What was the biggest takeaway for you Saturday night with the Elks' victory over Ottawa?
Go ahead.
You know what? I think for me, a good performance, not great. The weather certainly impacted it just a little bit. I'm sure the Ottawa Red Blacks, I don't think anyone expects to be a powerhouse. But all in all, positive. I think that I still would like to see the defensive line get home. They just had the 1 sack. There was some good pressure, though. There's some learning things as well. Like you said, there could have been a pick 6. Tyrell Ford, maybe he just kind of misplayed it in the air. I don't know why he jumped for it, but that's one he's going to want back. They got to capitalize on those opportunities when they get them, because in a game against maybe BC or Saskatchewan, that's the difference in a game. You have to make those plays. So I would say good, lots of coachable moments.
I will say biggest takeaway to me was defensively. Now, maybe that's an asterisk because I don't love Ottawa's offense, but I thought the defense played great. Ottawa never really got into rhythm outside of one drive in that game. And the other takeaway to me is now one game, but last year I saw at time play calling way too cautious. I saw it again in the fourth quarter, especially. So that's my concern, because if that continues, that'll be a problem.
Yeah. And they got to find ways to beat teams, not let them back into it towards the end. And we'll see what happens going forward here. Question number 4 for you tonight, 6:30 MSG, Knicks Spurs. Will the Knicks take a commanding 3-0 series lead, or do the Spurs get back into it?
Well, they lost by 1, man. It's tough, but God, the Knicks are coming home. They have been like just dynamite. So, you know what? I think I'll go with the Knicks.
I was going to go with the Knicks, but something changed. They're killing all their good momentum. They're canceling their watch parties.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're messing with their fans. They got bad karma coming their way. So I'm going to say that the Spurs get the job done on the road.
And the Spurs did win games 5 and 7 in OKC. Is that right? Or was it just game 6 and 7? They won game. They won twice though in that series in OKC. So they are pretty good on the road.
They can do it. Final question for you today. On this day in 1984, Ghostbusters was released. Great movie. Didn't love the sequel. In honor of that, though, what would you say your top movies are that include ghosts? They'll say top 3.
Ooh. Top movies that say ghost? Well, I'll just go with Ghost.
that include ghosts. It doesn't have to be in the title or anything.
Oh, it doesn't have to be in the title? Well, I'll still go with Ghost. That was pretty good. Oh man, like good movies with ghosts in it. It's a good question, Cons. Like I'm not a huge ghost guy, but I guess I would go with Paranormal Activity. I'll go with that one. And there was multiple, so I'll go with the Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, Cons. And I'll go with The Ring.
Good picks. I'm going to throw one as an honorable mention. I watched Ghost Dad a lot growing up. That was before what we knew about Cosby, so it's kind of on the fringe. It's on the outside. My top 3, though, I'll have Casper the Friendly Ghost with Christina Ricci growing up. I'm a big fan of that one when it was released. Sixth Man. It had one of the Wayans brothers in it, the basketball one. So you've heard of this one. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. For those who haven't, you definitely got to check it out. 2 brothers, college basketball, one dies, and as his ghost helps the other guy have success. It's a good movie. And then I'll go Coco as well. Great music, great visuals, I think Disney movie. So that'd be probably my top 3. I went away from the scary ones for this topic.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. So we got hey guys, Dead Men of Dunharrow. Ooh, good one. I really like it. Hey guys, what about A Christmas Carol? Oh, that's a good one, Sham. Totally, that's a real good one. I like it. I've never seen Ghost Dad. This might be the first time Cons has seen movies multiple times, and I've never seen it. I like it. Hey, what about The Sixth Sense?
Don't see dead people.
Yeah, it's true. But I guess that classifies as a ghost. That's a good pick, actually.
Yeah.
I like that one. That is a good pick. We got a lot of Beetlejuice coming in. So
great movie.
No.
I didn't see the new one, but the original is a classic.
Hey, Gregor, I can't believe you didn't just go with Eric Boulanger. It was a ghost the entire time. Boulanger Triangle for life. Good one, Jordan. Oh, was it? Somebody I was chatting with. I won't mention it, but a former Oiler was. I ran into him last week, and I don't know. Somehow we got on conversation about that, and he goes, "Oh," and he just started laughing about it. He goes, "That was actually pretty funny nickname." So I was like, "All right, many years later, you can get a thumbs up." So that's good. It was harmless. Shin Pad Assassin, Human Rake. Human Rake's still probably my favorite. Shin Pad Assassin was good though. Boulanger Triangle was great, and I know that one had a little bit because they all Shin Pad Assassin was kind of funny, and Andre Secker, he had a really good sense of humor. Like honestly, he was. The thing about Secker was he loved talking to you more about like non-hockey stuff. Right? He was big into fashion. Like that guy he had a lot of fashion sense. And so he would comment, had a lot of conversations about that, was really into it. And, but the Shin Pad Assassin, I remember one day he called me over and goes, and he just looked at me and he goes, Shin Pad Assassin. And he just smiled and he goes, that's actually funny. So that was, that's good. Cause hey, he was killing, no one was killing shin pads more like him in his heyday. I'd like to go back and look, see how many of his shots were blocked. Oof. Seemed like it was probably not as many as you think, because once you start, it's like anything. Once you see it, then now you look for it, right? But it was still a fair amount. It's like when you buy a new vehicle, all of a sudden you see that new vehicle. Like if you buy a new, GM, let's say you got a new truck. Now you're driving, you notice all the new GM trucks. It's just how it goes, Cons. Right? When you get your new vehicle, you kind of notice that brand more often than before. You're like, geez, suddenly there's more of them on the road. And probably not. It's just you notice them now because you have one.
It's true.
Yeah, it is true. We're all like that. It's totally fair.
And I mean, to be fair, he did fire a lot of shots into shin pads. I don't think it was overblown by any means.
No.
He earned it.
It was legit. Hey, Gregor, maybe they're hiring Babcock in order to fire him the instant Cassie's released. Oh, so you're saying that he won't last the summer for the second time in a row? God, that would be funny. You would be funny. So 5:01. Quick break. When we come back, Mark Spector joins us here on the Gregor Show. But first, Connor Halley, Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. The Road Trip Ready event is on now, the biggest sale of the year. Enter for a chance to win free gas for the summer and weekly prizes like detailing packages, free tires, and more. It's NorthgateGM.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, according to TSN's Darren Traeger, the Oilers consulting with the NHL's Players Association to see if there are any objections that must be resolved before potentially hiring Mike Babcock as their next head coach. Babcock, 63, last coached in the NHL during the 2019-2020 season with the Maple Leafs, and Peter Lavalette has been hired by the LA Kings. For reports, it is a 3-year deal. He spent the last year out of hockey after being hired by the Rangers at the end of the 2025 season. In the association tonight, Game 3, Knicks Spurs from MSG, tip-off 6:30. New York leading that series 2-0. And in the majors, Jay's taking on the Phillies in about 10 minutes time. We'll have that game for you here on Sports 1440 on the AM dial. Elsewhere, Orioles, Mariners scoreless. The Rays lead the Red Sox 1-0. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead over the Guardians in the second. Later tonight, Astros in Anaheim. The Padres hosting the Reds. Nationals get the Giants, while the Athletics will host the Brewers. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We'll hear the stats of the day and get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Afternoon, welcome back. Welcome.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started
with
their
us here
day.
at Sports
So
14.
while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying
Welcome
new
back, Jason
underground
Gregor, Connor Halley,
infrastructure
Sports
for our
1440.
growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carriers weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Air conditioning from Legacy Heating and Cooling is like a country love song because you always know exactly what you're getting. Cause girl, you're hotter than Tennessee, cooler than Legacy's AC, blowing that southern breeze over me. Wheat fields, cold beer, pickup trucks, John Deere. You see, Legacy is that predictable because Legacy always has AC in stock and will install it faster than a truck burning down a back road. Plus, no interest and no payments for 1 year. That's how you lasso your Legacy. Legacy.
Heating and Cooling.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Rev up for a ride that truly matters. Join the Princess Auto Ride for Dad Edmonton, where hundreds of motorcycles fire up and roll out together in one unforgettable moment. Enjoy a scenic route, great food, amazing prizes, fundraising awards, and a whole community riding shoulder to shoulder. Collect pledges to support prostate cancer research and awareness in the fight against prostate cancer. Ride strong, ride proud to make a difference this Saturday, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. Register now at ridefordad.ca.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock, welcome back. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Man, it's always interesting how sports has changed. Like your big home run hitter's a leadoff hitter now sometimes in MLB. Schwarber leading off for the Phillies. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just different, right? It used to always be, hey, your big bopper was hitting third, maybe usually fourth, third a little bit. But now, hey, and I get it, right? Why not have your best batter give him the best chances to be at the plate the most often outside the first inning? Rarely is he probably going to be leading off the inning. So I get it. It's just wild because, man, Schwarber, knowing that guy hits home runs for fun right now. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you are having a fantastic Monday. There's lots going on. The rumor mill is in high gear and sounding and looking more and more like Mike Babcock is very good chance, not official, could be the next head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Why is the question? Honestly, that's like, just give me an answer as to why. And if your only answer is, well, he won a cup before, like, so is Dan Bizemore going to be a coach? Why not Darryl Sutter then? Those guys all won since Babcock's won. He hasn't won since 2008. He hasn't won a playoff series since 2013. He hasn't been in the NHL since 2019. Oh, there you go. Bold decision. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. They are hiring. Looking for top men operators, pipe layers, and more. gsconstruction.ca. Look up careers, and Spec is off tonight because he has a daughter's graduation ceremony. All right, big deal. You got to be there. I love it. And in for Spec, hey, really good replacement. Step up, maybe. Andrew Walker, of course, our pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440. Walks, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, and it's the time of year where there's all these rumors, right? So you're trying to like read in between the lines and listen to stuff, and what I just took from that intro is that the season is over, yet you still called me the pre and post game host, so that means I'm back. I'm taking it. I'm back for another year. That's a verbal contract right there.
Yeah, there you go. I like it for sure. Now I don't know if there's a verbal contract, but lots of smoke around that Mike Babcock and reported by numerous people that the leadership group has had conversations with Mike Babcock. And I don't discount any of that. My question is why? Like, why do people think Babcock is the answer? I don't get it. Do you?
I am surprised because I like everyone read the reports in the last couple of days, doing other stuff, didn't really, get into it in depth because frankly, I kind of just thought it was a troll. Like I kind of thought it was just like a fake Twitter account having fun or maybe a smoke screen as they go out and hire Cassidy anyway. I didn't think it was necessarily real, and now it seems to be gaining steam. I'm not the guy that I'm going to be like, oh, Greg's, what a monster. How can they hire such a bully? I really don't care about any of that stuff. But we are living in this world of perception and social media, and it's just really, really easy for an organization or an individual to put yourself on the wrong side of a headline. And why would you just invite that crazy negative press or obsession or distraction, however you want to term it? So when I look at Mike Babcock, I do think he's a good coach. I do think he's a winner because he had a couple missteps. That doesn't take away from him. I'm not one of those guys, but it is a very curious decision because why is, like you said, is he head and shoulders better than, those guys you mentioned, a Daryl Sutter, Bruce Cassidy, that like, we don't care about the negative press. We have to have this guy. Like the guy was retired, right? So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's the worst thing I've ever heard. It is confusing though.
I just look at it. I don't understand why. Like the guy's a repeat offender, multiple places, multiple different organizations. And I look at an organization that there's a lot of pressure in Edmonton to win. I don't discount that at all. The clock's kind of ticking maybe on Connor McDavid. I'm still not 100% sold on that because there's no guarantee wherever you go that you're going to win. And the one thing I do know that, unless you go to maybe Colorado, there's not many forwards I think that are as good as Leon Draisaitl. So you're automatically going to a team with less than a star player, except Colorado. But so there's lots of pressure. A guy who he hasn't coached a game in 7 years in the NHL. He hasn't won a playoff game since 2013. That to me is what matters most. And I'm like, why is this guy the answer? It makes no sense to me at all. And then you throw in the history and the other stuff, and that just adds on to it to be another head-scratching decision if indeed it comes to fruition.
Well, and if you really, really like 2002 Mike Babcock, like if you look back and be like, I remember that guy, he's best coach in the NHL, that guy would work with the Edmonton Oilers. I would hire that guy in a second. It begs the question, is he even still that guy? I mean, he's been through the ringer a couple of times professionally now. And the Columbus thing was so dumb. Like, obviously you have to blame him. It's his fault. But I blame him in the sense that I blame, my grandpa for saying something off color at, like, if you gave him the microphone at a wedding, you wouldn't do that, right? It's just, he's old. Like, Babcock tried in Columbus and he obviously put his foot in it and it looked like an idiot and the players wanted him out. I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. It was just kind of embarrassing. He tried to change and it backfired on him. So if this is like a new guy and a changed guy, you don't know what kind of coach he is anyway.
Yeah, 100%. And now I'll say this about who the Oilers, I believe the Edmonton Oilers, because number one, we know they're getting a new coach, whether it was Cassidy, whether it was Babcock, whether it was Walker, it doesn't matter. They were getting a new head coach when Knobloch got fired. And this team, Their last 3 head coaches, they get a new head coach, and they're like, boys, we got to go. We got to play. We're all righted up, and boom. Like Knobloch had the best record in the NHL his first year. And then he went to game 7 of the freaking Stanley Cup Finals. And then he went to game 6. It was pretty good. And then all of a sudden, well, you know what? He wasn't hard enough, and he lost his way. And yeah, maybe he didn't have a great year, but I would point to some other things being the issue. To me, I look at this team, and I'm like, I think they're good enough, just straight up good enough to win the division in the regular season, because I don't think Vegas is going to have much to play for. To be honest, they'll be like, let's just get in the playoffs. I don't see any other teams that are that dominant. So Edmonton will be rested. They'll get in regardless of the coach. But they can change the coach if they don't change some other elements of their team, commitment defensively, commitment managing the puck, and finding some more consistency, in goaltending. It ain't going to matter who the head coach is.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. They could have won with Knobloch, arguably should have won with Knobloch, and they could win with Mike Babcock. They could win with Daryl Sutter. They could win with Dan Bilesmith. Like, the team has a good enough core. Again, like they were not very good this year, and they were still better than Vegas. And Vegas is likely to win the Stanley Cup. So like this group can win, and they can win with anybody. I guess the main story is always just going to be, why are you willing? And does it matter, right? Like that's the talking point. Why are you willing to? Vancouver is famous for this, right? Vancouver couldn't get out of their way the last couple of years. Like every decision they make, they do the most embarrassing one, right? And then everyone makes fun of them. And like, if you're the Oilers, why as an organization do you put yourself in that position where now it's just going to be, memes and commentary and everything about the Oilers and Mike Babcock, and you can't get out of your own way. And that won't be, silenced until they actually win, if they do, right? Like we got to that point in a sense with Stuart Skinner. Like the narrative was only going to change if he won a Stanley Cup clinching game, right? Like you paint yourself into this corner. So you can argue, like, does that even matter? Like, is it us against the world? Who cares what any other market says? But it is, again, like, I agree with you, man. I'm not a Mike Babcock hater like some. But I don't see how he is just so undeniable that, like, we don't care the perception it gives us. It's nuts.
Switching to some other stories in the NHL, Dylan Larkin asked for a trade. Not surprising. I was doing some research. I can't think of a player who's with one organization for 10 consecutive seasons and didn't make the playoffs. Like he made the playoffs his first year, then he missed it 10 years in a row. First of all, not many organizations miss 10 years in a row, and very few players are there for all 10 years, but he was. So I get why he's like, no mas, I'm out. The organization doesn't want to change the GM, so I think I'm going to leave. That's fine. Now, he asked for a trade. He has a full no movement clause. And he gives a list of Vegas, Minnesota, and Florida walks. He's got 5 years left on his deal. I like Minnesota. I just can't see what they offer because they've already got rid of a lot to get Quinn Hughes. And Florida and Vegas probably could do something, but Florida's in the division. So that kind of leaves Vegas. I'm Steve Yzerman. I saw what he did with Jonathan Drouin. I say, hey, it's within your rights to ask for a trade. And it's within my rights to make a trade that benefits our team. And we're a team that's missed the playoffs for 10 years. I don't see them giving away Larkin, and he's got 5 years left in his deal. If he has to play it out for a while into the season until he maybe expands his no trade list, I could totally see that happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you really want to trade, if you really want out, giving a trade list of 3, you don't really want out bad enough. Because Dylan Larkin, I love Dylan Larkin. I think he's a heck of a player. If you say, hey, let me put on 5 markets I really don't want to go to, and then trade me to any of the other 25, he gets out, and Detroit, man, this is a guy in his prime on a nice number with, he's worn the C, he's an Olympian, and he's got 5 years left. Like they get a haul for this guy. But you give a trade list of 3 teams, you just obviously don't want out bad enough. And even if one of those teams has a package, who are they bidding against?
Yeah, well, very true, right? So, because I look at Detroit, and you're in a situation where you've missed the playoffs for 10 years, and even Steve Yzerman, who, obviously has a great relationship with the ownership group in Detroit. At some point, there'll be some pressure here to be like, God, because if we don't win, maybe Mo Sider suddenly says, okay, I'm out, right? And you don't want that. So I think getting a fair return, it's hard to win a trade per se on optics when you're trading a guy like Larkin, but I think he has to look for a big trade. And here's the thing. I think there's lots of teams that would be interested. There's lots of competitive teams that will want a second line center.
Oh yeah. No, I think every team needs to look at a package to try to get Dylan Larkin. I think he's a fabulous player. And yeah, like, you know, we always roll our eyes a little bit at a guy, you know, requesting a trade. It always seems like he's the one quitting, and in a sense he is. But yeah, like the guy's a competitor, and like you said, hasn't seen a playoff game in 10 years. So it's either, you know, the team has to get a whole heck of a lot better, or he goes to a different team. I don't necessarily blame him after 10. We didn't see any quit in Dylan Larkin. You can argue a little bit if you saw some quit in Quinn Hughes by the end, maybe. But again, like Vancouver got a great package for him. Everybody wins.
Yeah. Well, they got a good package. Like
good. Well, yeah. Good, decent package. We'll see how those.
Yeah,
we'll see how those players evolve. But I like Buim. I like Rossi. Yeah.
No, I'll be curious to. Hey, do you think they could trade Elias Pettersson? Like, how much would they have to retain? Do you think to trade him? Like $3 million? He's 11.6.
11.6.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. In terms of just like the player, if it was like a confidence issue, you know, you could, or, you know, a line mate issue, even a work ethic issue, you could trade him, right? You could fix him. If his injuries limit him enough physically that like that's a big part of the issue, maybe that word is out there. Maybe people out there know more than I do. If it's a real injury concern, I don't think you can move him. If it's just this player's playing bad and we're afraid to take on the deal, you can absolutely move him, because there's a lot of teams that would think if he's at full speed, he's had 100 points. He's and I don't like him. I wouldn't trade for him, but does a lot of good things. He's solid defensively. I do believe a team could rehab Elias Pettersson, but no one's trading for him if his injuries are truly the reason for his decline.
Yeah. Andrew Walker joins us, filling in here in the Spec Report. Walks one last one. Stanley Cup Finals been absolutely wild. Highly entertaining to watch. Goals all over the place. Leads mean nothing. No one can hold a lead, it seems, in this series, which is great for entertainment value. Do you see it changing, or is this just what we're going to see, 7 straight games of chaos?
Well, I saw it changing last game, and when it was 0-0 halfway through the second, I felt pretty good about my prognostication, and then all hell broke loose. So you're right. It's been 3 unbelievable games, and I'm a little surprised. Like, you know, this is the first year in a lot of years you haven't had a long Oilers playoff run, right? And it's almost been right. I wish they were in it, but I think I can speak for everyone when I say, you know, it's kind of nice not having to go out and get hammered every second night and stay up late and spend money on tickets and bar bills. And it's like you get a bit of a spring off. So I haven't been crazy about the postseason. And then, you know, I watched the conference finals, and they wwere awful series. And most of the first round, which is great, that was bad too. So I didn't have a lot of high hopes for this final, and it's been 3 unbelievable games. Like, you haven't been able to turn it off. So that's awesome. It's great for the NHL. It's great for hockey. I definitely think there's a 2-1 game in the future here, but you know how it is. Like, we're getting to that point. Like, Vegas can lock it down and Carolina can lock it down, but we're 2 months into this thing, right? And they can see the finish line. So it might be hard to just play that perfect structure. Like, look at the Oilers-Panthers series in 2024, right? Like, you just never knew what was going to happen one game to the next.
Walks, we appreciate you filling in. Have yourself a wonderful day, and start your off-season training so you're ready to go for next year.
That's right. That's a verbal contract. We'll talk about the Rays later.
There you go, buddy. That's Andrew Walker, pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440. Quick break. We'll come back. We got some stats of the day, man, to blow your mind. Might even mix in a few Babcock's ones just for fun. Just to reiterate the point here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Rangeroni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Just in time for the big game, score big savings at The Brick. Save up to $1,300 off sofas. Save up to 50% on open box TVs. Plus, save up to 40% on select mattresses. And Friday to Monday, score even bigger with limited time specials and amazing door crasher deals in every department. Like the Arbor Queen bed, just $199. Or a Frigidaire top freezer fridge, just $349. See store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Cougar Creek Golf Resort is only minutes from Edmonton, so it's incredibly easy to fit in the perfect summer game anytime. Enjoy our championship-length golf course, surrounded by trees and rolling terrain. Book a tee time today. Go to cougarcreekgolf.com.
I want to be free. I want to just live inside my Cadillac. That is my
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on Monday afternoon, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you are having a lovely, lovely Monday. Of course, NBA, if they could actually get into the building for the game, and someone making it about himself. Shocking. But imagine paying as much as you paid for a ticket and you can't even get in the building right now. See the lineups outside? Holy, that is wild stuff, man. Wild. But should be a hell of a game once they get it going between the Spurs and the Knicks. Of course, you got Jays in action tonight. NHL Stanley Cup gets going tomorrow. Game 4. Will it be Bussy or will it be Freddie Anderson? We shall see. Let's get to our stats of the day now, brought to you by All-Star Construction. Founded in 2009. Sergey's taken them to become one of the largest contractors in their space in land development, power and gas installation contractors, as well as doing directional drilling and hydrovacing in his all-star construction. So some stats of the day for you, where all the arrows are pointing to Mike Babcock being the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Wow. So just some numbers for you. Mike Babcock last coached a game in the NHL in 2019. Last time he won a playoff series, 2013. His last coaching job, he was hired July 1st. He had to resign September 15th because once again in his career, he was going above an acceptable level of how to treat players poorly. And that's what he did. Asking them to show pictures on their phone. This was after the Mitch Marner situation, after the Mike Modano, after the Johan Franzen situation. And there's others, right? Mike Commodore's never hidden his views of Babcock. There's people. And the other thing is, you can just look at it. Everyone says, yeah, like you won on the Olympics. Like, I'm sorry. I don't compare what a coach did winning on the Olympic team. Okay, it's an all-star team. The Oilers aren't an all-star team. They got a few all-stars. They're not an all-star team. Hell of a lot easier to coach that team and win. Look at that blue line from 2014. That might be the greatest blue line Canada's ever had. God, they were good. Anywho, you look at the, just for fun, if you believe in winning. So in Toronto, in the postseason, the 20 games he played, and by the way, they never won a playoff series those years, losing in 7, 7, and 6. The Maple Leafs during that time, from 2016 to 2019, of all the teams who made the playoffs over those years, the Maple Leafs had the third highest goals against average at 3.45. When he left, it went down to 2.76 over the next few years. So we can get into all, whether you agree or not, how to treat players. But the fact of the matter remains, he hasn't had any playoff success since 2013. So, can he win a series for the first time in 14 years? I guess we'll find out next April. Now, let's get to the Elks. Justin Rankin, 102 rushing yards, 94 receiving yards. His goal was to be 1,000 guy, 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards. So, he had a great start. So now you look at it and say, is it realistic? Well, I'm going to update this after every Elks game. He now has 17 games to go, assuming he plays every game. If he averages 52.8 rushing yards per game and 53.3 receiving yards per game, he would get to 1,000. Like, it's not a crazy number. He got off to such a good start. 17 games. We'll see. Elks' first win of the season. First time ever for the Elks. This is the first time since the name change that they have been above 500. Ever. They were 2-2 once in 2021. After starting 0-2, they won 2 in a row. But now they're 1-0. They got a bye week. They got some excitement. Only negative, Wood Manzi will be placed on the 6-game IL. So that's a pretty big loss. Going to the NBA, the Knicks have won 13 in a row, second only to the 2017 Warriors, who won 15. The San Antonio Spurs are the 38th team in the NBA Finals history to fall behind 2-0. Only the 2021 Bucks, 2016 Cavs, 2006 Heat, 77 Trailblazers, and 1969 Celtics came back and won. But none of them started 0-2 on the home court. If the Spurs are going to win this series, they will become the first team in NBA history to be down 0-2 on home court and come back and win 4 of possibly the next 5 games. We shall see. In the NHL, goals. Vegas, Carolina. That's all they're doing is scoring goals, baby. They have scored the most goals in the first 3 games of a Stanley Cup final since 1981. If you like offense, and I don't know who doesn't, because it's fun, man. These games have been unbelievable to watch. Highly entertaining, lots of offense, back and forth. To me, it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And hopefully we'll have more of it. 9, 7, and 9. 25 goals in the first 3 games. In case you're wondering, the most goals ever in the first 3 games was 1981. The Islanders and the North Stars, they scored 30. Then you go the Maple Leafs and the Rangers back in 1932, had 28. The Canadians and Blackhawks in 73 had 27. So there you go. It's been a while since we've seen that much. In MLB, I don't know how closely you're watching it, but Jacob Mizorowski, the pitcher for Milwaukee, in the month of May, his ERA was 0.2. He has one earned run in his last 41.1 innings pitched, which is the lowest ERA over a 7-start span since Bob Gibson in 1968. On Saturday at Coors Field, Mizorowski threw a pitch 103.7 miles an hour. Now, that's the fastest pitch ever recorded in baseball since they started tracking it in 2008. The previous high, 103.6, set by Mizorowski. Like, this guy is the fireballer in MLB. 45 of his 98 pitches were 101 miles per hour. Connor, 45 of 90, half of his pitches, just under half, were over 101 miles an hour. Like this, we've never seen it before. Remember when oh my God, this guy threw 100 miles an hour. It's like crazy. This guy, you go every game, and now it's not even 100. It's 45 of 98 were 101 miles per hour. Like, that is crazy, man. In golf, Nelly Korda won her second major this year. She's won both. She's the third woman to do that in the last 90 years, joining Annika Sorenstam in 2005 and Inbee Park in 2013. She's also the first woman to win 4 majors this decade, 2 of them coming this year. And speaking of golf, the 126th U.S. Open concludes today with golf's longest day. There's 10 sites that have the 36-hole qualifiers to fill the remaining spots for next week's championship at Shinnecock Hills. How about this? 3 previous U.S. Open winners are competing to try to get back in. Webb Simpson, who won in 2012, Lucas Glover, who won in 2009, and Jeff Ogilvy, who won in 2006, are all trying to qualify just to get back in. It's not like the Masters where once you win, you get in all for life. It's kind of unique. JT Poston, he was scheduled to play today, but instead of putting himself through that stress, he said, you know what? I'm just going to win the Memorial, which he did. He played 33 holes on Sunday due to the delay. So that gave him a spot in the U.S. Open, a $4 million payday, and more importantly, didn't have to play 36 holes today. What a performance in clutch time for him. Also, some tennis news. Alex Zverev won his first major on the weekend. It was his first major in his 41st major appearance. In the Open era, only one player has played more majors before getting their first win. Any idea who it is, Connor Halley? Random guess?
I don't know.
The big man. He could serve. He had like a crazy serve. Goran Ivanisevic.
Okay.
It took him 48 majors before he won. So that's the most in the Open era. Zverev was at Zverev is at 41 before he got his first one. And quickly, Antonelli won in the Monaco Grand Prix. He's the youngest racer, 19 years and 9 months to win at Monaco. Lewis Hamilton was the previous youngest guy at 23 years and 4 months. So Antonelli's way younger. He's also the youngest driver ever to record the Grand Slam. So he won pole position. He led every lap. He had the fastest lap, and he won the race. It's like the Grand Slam in one race. Pretty impressive, youngest guy to do it. So there you go. The stats of the day, from racing to tennis to hockey to football, baseball, basketball, all tied in. I love it. Stats of the day brought to you by All Star Construction. We'll come back. Cam Tate, 2-minute warning on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1, saving you money. with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2, water skiing. Tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3, saving you more money with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
The perfect place to host your golf tournament or fundraiser, company event, celebration of life, wedding, birthday party, or private party. Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. More than a golf course, a fun, welcoming place with beautiful views, relaxing patios, and a team that truly appreciates each and every guest. Featuring Out of Bounds, Cattail's 5-star kitchen. Some say it's the best clubhouse dining they've ever had. Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. Book your tourney or event today at cattailcrossing.ca. Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado,
hear me.
There's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned,
not a rumor,
independent liquor store.
Not the idle gossip of
incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're
letting the idea
Alberta's best.
And if that does not fill you with a cold, sinking dread, then I submit you. Darren Dreger of
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above.
Must stop and ask whether the man they are openly
further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows.
They called it Watergate.
Is an easy decision for you.
And the men who orchestrated did not emerge with their reputations intact. This is not about systems which we hide behind.
Windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Up for a ride that truly matters. Join the Princess Auto Ride for Dad Edmonton, where hundreds of motorcycles fire up and roll out together in one unforgettable moment. Enjoy a scenic route, great food, amazing prizes, fundraising awards, and a whole community riding shoulder to shoulder. Collect pledges to support prostate cancer research and awareness in the fight against prostate cancer. Ride strong, ride proud to make a difference this Saturday, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. Register now at ridefordad.ca.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Druid Irish Pub, Edmonton's favorite soccer home. The Druid Irish Pub is back in the Ice District across from Rogers Place. Watch all the games with $6.50 Heineken only at the Druid Irish Pub.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
544. Welcome back, Gregor. Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Declan running things over YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Give him a thumbs up. Give him hit that subscribe button. Make his day. Coming back from holidays. It's the little things. It's the little things. Cost you nothing. Make his day. So there you go. Let's get now to 2-minute warning. Cam Tate brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, 45 years. Cam was born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. Never let him slow him down. And he's always wanted to be on radio now through the wonders of technology. Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
Hear me. Understand precisely what is unfolding before you. Not a rumor. Not the idle gossip of some anonymous source in a dimly lit hallway. The Edmonton Oilers. This franchise that once gave us Gretzky, Messier, and 5 Stanley Cups are spitballing Mike Babcock, entertaining it, letting the idea sit at the table like an honored guest. And if that does not fill you with a cold, thinking dread, then I submit you have not been paying attention. Darren Dreger of TSN reports the Oilers are reaching out to the NHLPA to determine whether a formal investigation is even required before they proceed. Pause. Let that land. This organization, your organization, must stop and ask whether the man they are openly considering needs to be investigated before they can hand him the keys to the room. In another era, in another city, they had a word for that kind of willful, stumbling moral navigation. They called it Watergate. And the men who orchestrated it did not emerge with their reputations intact. This is not about systems, not about power plays, not about penalty kills or neutral zone exits, or any of the comfortable tactical language we hide behind. Strip it all away, ruthlessly, completely. And what you are left with is the only thing that has ever truly mattered inside a dressing room: trust. The unspoken covenant between a coach and the men he asks to bleed for him. Shatter that covenant, and nothing rescues you. No whiteboard, no scheme, no genius. Mike Babcock's history with the players under his charge is not a minor asterisk at the bottom of a page. It is the entire document. We asked you what you thought on Twitter. 51% said one word, and that word was desperation. 29% said senseless. 12% extended charity. Everyone deserves a second chance, they said. 7% called it a waste of time. That is not a hopeful fan base. That is a people bracing, grimly, quietly, for impact. This offseason was meant to be a reckoning, the most consequential, the most critical, the most irreversible offseason in the modern history of this proud and wounded franchise. And instead, we stand here, mouths open, watching the organization consider a path so reckless, so tone-deaf, so utterly devoid of self-awareness that it defies rational explanation. So I will ask it, plainly, without cushion, without apology. Is this shameful, bewildering moment, the first wretched, forsaken day of another decade of darkness? Gregor, Halley, Kruger, abandon whatever you are doing and call the Pope. Call Rome itself if you must. For help. This is Cam Tate. Sports 1440.
It will be an interesting day when the Oilers announce Mike Babcock, if indeed he is the next head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. A lot of arrows seem to be pointing in that direction. And you, like I said, could the Oilers have success in the regular season? Yes. The Oilers could have success in the playoffs because I think they got a pretty good roster. Not a great roster, not a perfect roster. There's no such thing. But this is a team that's been in the Stanley Cup Finals twice in the last 3 years. This year they lost when 4 of their center icemen were injured, either playing hurt or couldn't play. You got McDavid, you got Draisaitl, you got a chance. That's just a fact. Evan Bouchard, pretty good defenseman. To me, it just comes down to, why is Mike Babcock the one that people think is the answer? Oh, well, he won a Stanley Cup. Yeah, in 2008. What has he done in the last decade? He hasn't won a playoff round. He hasn't coached in the NHL since 2019. Why? Because when he was given another opportunity, he couldn't even last the summer. Because, once again, he overstepped his boundaries as a coach. He's a control freak. It's been proven. He likes to ridicule and demean players. There's lots of coaches that are hard on players. And the players respect them. But you don't have to belittle them. There's a difference. You can go read the article today. It has go back to the Johan Franzen situation in Detroit. And have you ever heard Mike Babcock apologize? Ever? Because if you do, that'd be the first time. Right? I never heard it, but I look forward to asking him. You ever apologize? Because when he was asked about the Mitch Marner situation, he said, I was trying. His first response was, I was trying to teach him about hard work and work ethic. It just didn't work out. You mean asking him to list his teammates in order from best to worst hard worker and then show him your teammates? It didn't work out? Shocking. Can't believe, geez, no one would have seen that one coming. Right? But if you constantly make mistakes for repeat offenders, they keep being repeat offenders. It's that simple. Make excuses for them. Oh, yeah, but there's no buts here. There's no buts. These are things on record by multiple people. In Detroit, in Toronto, in Columbus. That's not a debate. It's not an opinion. Those are facts. And that's just how it is. So we will we'll see where it goes from here. But there's nothing I think anyone can say that will tell me that this is a good decision. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, why do you think they just stopped looking at Cassidy? It's only like a week away before the playoffs are over. Well, again, we don't know for sure if Vegas would ever give them permission to speak to Cassidy. They're in their division. They're probably, I think, their main rival in the division. Like, you look at it, there's been, over the last few years, 2 teams in the Western Conference in the Stanley Cup final. Both reside in the Pacific Division, Vegas and Edmonton. That's it. So, like, I know Anaheim finally made the playoffs and they won a series. Awesome. But if I'm Vegas, would I look at Anaheim as a similar competitor to Edmonton? No. And if I was Edmonton, I would not look at Anaheim in the same vein as Vegas. Not at all. So I can see why Vegas would be like, meh. Whether it's June 8th, whether it's June 15th, whether it's June 28th, we're not giving him permission to speak to Edmonton. So I'm sure that's probably why they said, all right, we will move on, see what happens. Coming up tomorrow, we'll talk to a head coach, get his thoughts on winning, the importance of winning, how you go about it. Still the right way to do it or a wrong way. On behalf of Halley, Kruger, I'm Gregor. Blue Jays coming up next, right here live on Sports 1440. Here's the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services that you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
According to a report from TSN's Darren Drager, the Oilers are consulting with the NHL's Player Association to see if there are any objections they must resolve before potentially hiring Mike Babcock as their head coach. Babcock, 63, last coach in the NHL during the 2020 season with the Leafs. Peter Laviolette has been hired by the LA Kings as their next head coach. Per reports, it is a 3-year deal. He spent the past season out of hockey after he was fired by the Rangers at the conclusion of the 2025 season. In the association, it's Game 3 from New York, Knicks and Spurs. Tip-off 6:30. Knicks leading that series 2 games to none right now. Jays in action. They trail the Phillies 5-0 in the top of the third. Bases loaded, 2 outs. We'll join that game in progress immediately following the upcoming break. Red Sox, Rays, and Mariners, Orioles both tied at 1 apiece, while the Yankees and Guardians tied at 3 heading into the 5th. Later tonight, Angels host the Astros, Reds in San Diego, the Nationals taking on the Giants, and the Athletics up against the Brewers. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next on the AM feed, it is Blue Jays baseball. If you're streaming, Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team.